Chapter 758. Lu Kuan naturally didn't know that the people of the blood-refining sect and the seven evil sects suspected that he wasn't a human. At this moment, he was hiding in a dense patch of nightmare grass in the nightmare plane, holding several spirit stones in his hand as he recovered his spiritual energy. The nightmare grass had great hallucinogenic properties to other cultivators, but to Lu Kuan, it was nothing. His soul concealment technique alone was enough to prevent him from being affected by it, and his golden eye could also see through illusions. A week ago, he followed the direction of the seven evil sect and left the devil-devouring swamp, arriving at this strange nightmare plane. In the process of traversing the plains, Lu Kuan accidentally discovered a peak class 7 demon eagle. Seeing the demon eagle's extremely fast flying speed, Lu Kuan was delighted and tried to tame it. But he didn't expect that the demon eagle would rather die than submit. It was very stubborn. Even if it couldn't defeat Lu Kuan, it refused to become someone else's mount. In the end, it even used a suicidal move to escape Lu Kuan's entanglement by falling to the ground. At that time, Lu Kuan happened to see Song Li and Madame Ko in the distance. What happened next was needless to say. Faced with this person who had killed his elders, Lu Kuan naturally wanted to destroy his soul. At the same time, his identity could also be exposed. If other cultivators knew that Lu Kuan, a former disciple of the Yang clan, had cultivated to the middle core formation stage in only 100 years, his combat strength had reached the pseudo-nascent soul stage, and his physical body was even stronger than a level 7 demon beast, those nascent soul stage old monsters would probably come out to find him. If they followed the clues of Lu Kuan and the Yang clan, they might be able to find traces of the body refining pavilion and the treasure pavilion. Therefore, Lu Kuan killed Madame Ko immediately. As for the 3 spiritual lights that killed Madame Ko, they were the attacks launched by Lu Kuan's fingernails. When he was in the underground magma of the first level of the Hidden Realm, he had already refined the fingernails on his hands and feet into one-time, self-exploding magical equipment. He had also studied the Ashen Demon Ball of the Seven Evil sect and infused his murderous aura into it. That was why he had stayed in the first level for a long time. Just as Madame Ko was about to escape, Lu Kuan caught her off guard and activated the 3 fingernails, which were imbued with the power of Lu Kuan's flick of his finger, killing Madame Ko instantly. After entering the middle stage of bone treasure, Lu Kuan's bones had all become official magic weapons, which brought a lot of changes to his body. In addition to the strength of his skeletal muscles, the same was true for the derived connective tissue. Therefore, the material of his nails could be used to refine magic weapons. Moreover, Lu Kuan's fingernails on both hands and feet would continue to grow. Even if they were consumed, it would only take a few days for them to grow back and refine them into self-exploding magical equipment. He had made full use of his fingernails. From the battle of killing Madame Ko, it could be seen that the unexpected self-exploding magical equipment with the power of Lu Kuan's flick of his finger was truly impossible to guard against. After about 3 days and 3 nights, Lu Kuan slowly opened his eyes. At this time, the mana in his body had completely recovered. The 3 fingernails on his right hand had also grown back. He muttered to himself, "Originally, with less than half of my mana, I could at most support a dozen rounds of attacks with the power of the arm. Against the 5 people of the blood-refining sect, it was very risky. Those guys also seemed to be very wary of me and didn't chase after me. Otherwise, my mana would be greatly depleted and I wouldn't be able to support it for too long." Then, a strange look flashed in his eyes. According to the old man's surnamed Song, the 2 martial uncles, Nia Wufeng and Zhu Siming, are not dead. They were captured alive by old Devil Pang of the blood-refining sect. Although that old man wants to stall for time so that the people of the blood-refining sect can come and rescue him, no matter whether this news is true or not, I will have to investigate it carefully after I get out. Lu Kuan pondered. From the blood-refining sect's blood cloud airship, I know that many of the Yang clan's artifact forging inheritances have fallen into the hands of the blood-refining sect. Could it be that old Devil Pang obtained it by searching the souls of martial uncles, Nia Wufeng, and others? When Lu Kuan thought of this, he felt a chill in his heart. Even if he didn't know the soul-searching technique, He had heard that the soul of a cultivator who was subjected to the soul-searching technique would be shattered beyond repair, equivalent to a cripple. Starting from the blood-refining sex artifact forging techniques, I can always find some clues. If Martial Uncle Nya Wufeng is really not dead, Lu Kuan, will find a way to save him. Lu Kuan was not a person who forgot his roots. Back when Ling Yutong ambushed him, he didn't chase after her because of Ling Yution's kindness in teaching him. He helped his junior martial brothers of the Yang clan settle down and establish the treasure pavilion because his martial uncles of the Yang clan had been of great help to him. Nya Wufeng's soul-controlling artifact and Zhu Siming's improved soul-sensing technique were also of great help to him. Now that he got the news that Nya Wufeng and Zhu Siming might not be dead, he naturally had to find a way to find out more about it. After pondering for a while, Lu Kuan looked at Song Li's storage pouches. This psychic magic treasure cloak is not very useful for body cultivators. I already use a lot of my magic power to fly with my bone treasure. If I use this cloak, it will be a waste of magic power. But this black and white banner is interesting. It seems to be a magic treasure that is compatible with magic power and demonic power. I'll take it apart later. This longsword magic treasure is a magic treasure that is driven by magic power. That's right. When this guy fought Martial Uncle Nya, he used this magic treasure. Lu Kuan identified Song Li's magic treasure and remembered that this old guy was a spy in the Shangqing sect. He didn't cultivate demonic arts, but pure magic power. From a situation just now, Song Li had clearly converted his magic power into demonic power. Thinking of this, Lu Kuan scanned the storage pouches a few more times, trying to find a cultivation method jade slip. After a while, he sighed regretfully. This miraculous gate is really like this. High-grade cultivation methods of the core formation stage are not preserved. Song Li's magic power cultivation was originally at the late core formation stage, but now it had been converted into demonic power. Obviously, such a cultivation method had great reference value to Lu Kuan. Demonic power and magic power coexisted in his body. Hey, this is Space Spirit Crystal. He showed a happy expression. With a flash of light in his hand, a transparent crystal the size of a fist appeared. It exuded a strange aura. Space Spirit Crystal is a top material for refining space-type magic treasures. It is rare in the world. Could it be that this old guy obtained it from my Yang clan? Lu Kuan played with the transparent crystal in his hand. He was really surprised. It was said that space spirit crystals were materials that were accidentally bred in some space cracks. As soon as they appeared, even nascent soul stage cultivators would fight over them. The reason why space spirit crystals were so precious was because of storage pouches. The main material for a storage pouch was a plant called the space spirit grass. Every sect cultivated it. As long as the space spirit grass was refined and woven, and a simple miniature array was engraved on it, it could be made into a storage pouch. However, the storage pouch had limited space and was shaped like a pouch. Most cultivators hung it on their waists, but it was inconvenient for high-grade cultivators. The space spirit crystal was completely different from the space spirit grass. This kind of spatial attribute material, not to mention the legendary spatial magic treasure, only needed to be fused with some of the most basic refining materials, and under the effect of the relevant array, it could be refined into storage magic treasures, such as storage bracelets. For cultivators, a storage pouch was not only more convenient to carry around than a storage pouch, but its space was also much larger. However, not all sects had the refining method for a storage pouch. Lu Kuan inherited the refining inheritance of the Yang clan, so he naturally knew how to refine a storage pouch. He looked down at his torso, and his eyes flashed with a strange light. Such a large piece of space spirit crystal is enough to refine many storage pouches. I can use my own rib cartilage to refine it. Since connective tissue like fingernails could be refined into a one-time, self-exploding magic treasure, then the stronger cartilage in his body could naturally be refined into a storage pouch with space spirit crystal. Lu Kuan's first thought when he saw the space spirit crystal was to use his rib cartilage to refine a storage pouch. The bone treasures in his body did not include his rib cartilage. If my rib cartilage can be used as a storage pouch, It will be much more convenient. After Lu Kuan entered the secret realm, he killed many opponents. His storage pouch had long been filled with grooves for his inner armor, which gave him a headache. Let's refine the space spirit crystal first. The newly grown fingernails also need to be refined. Chapter 759. More than a month ago, when the earth-shattering phenomenon occurred in the secret realm, the Central Mountain Range had undergone tremendous changes. A huge silver light screen, like a giant bowl, was placed in the center of the mountain range. It occupied 100 miles of space. Through the blurry light of the restriction, a valley seemed to have been forcibly squeezed out. On this day, there were two groups of people on top of the two broken mountains outside the mysterious valley. On the northern mountain, there were 7 cultivators. They sat cross-legged and wore similar robes with runes of various colors engraved on them. They were the 7 Fiends sect's late core formation stage 7 Fiends disciples. On the eastern mountain, there were 5 people, 3 men and 2 women. The leader was a skinny old man with a calm expression. His body exuded a terrifying demonic aura, which seemed to be far stronger than the average peak core formation stage demonic cultivator. He was the blood devil master with the highest cultivation in the blood refining sect, Ma Jie, who had entered the Yuan secret realm 300 years ago. The 4 people behind Ma Jie were also core formation stage demonic cultivators of the blood refining sect. One of them was a handsome young man in a black robe. He was Gu Han, who Lu Kuan had seen a few times. He cultivated demonic arts of the Ghost Dao. The other old man was Fang Yong Yuan, a late core formation stage demonic cultivator who was stationed in the Blood Devil Valley. Among the remaining 2 beautiful women, the middle core formation stage female cultivator with a cold aura was the second core formation stage Blood Devil Master. Her name was Zhan Lo. The dignified woman who exuded a strangely charming aura was the famous Moonlight Witch in the sect. Bai Jie's cultivation method was developed by her. Other than Ma Jie, the rest of the demonic cultivators of the blood refining sect looked at the 7 Fiends disciples on the northern mountain with fear. This was because the 7 Fiends disciples had all entered the late core formation stage. Guhan had fought the 7 Fiends disciples in the middle core formation stage before. He naturally knew the power of the 7 Fiends disciples' secret arts. The 7 Fiends disciples who had entered the late core formation stage could unleash attacks at the peak of the early nascent soul stage. Guhan sensed the faint demonic fluctuations of the 7 evil spirits in the distance and couldn't help but send a voice transmission. Senior Brother Ma, Supreme Demon, and the others still haven't returned yet. Could something have happened? If this continues, the 7 evil spirits might not be able to hold themselves back and attack. Ma Jie said coldly, Junior Brother Gu, even if there are only 5 of us, the 7 evil spirits won't be able to take us down easily. Moreover, according to our research, we need at least 31 Yuan Jade pendants to fully activate the restriction in this mysterious valley. As long as they want to enter the valley as soon as possible, they will have to join forces with us to open the restriction here. Bone Soul looked at Ma Jie's calm expression and thought of the demonic seed, orb, that Elder Qian had mentioned before they departed. At this moment, a streak of light appeared in the distant horizon. There were 5 figures inside. It was the Supreme Devil and the others. At this moment, the other demonic cultivators of the blood refining sect were completely relieved. If the 10 of them were to fight together, they would even dare to fight against an early nascent soul stage cultivator. However, Ma Jie frowned. After the Supreme Devil and the others landed on the mountain peak, his hand flashed with spirit light and formed a blood-red light screen that enveloped the mountain peak. He said in a deep voice, Supreme Devil, where's Song Li and Madame Ko? The Supreme Devil smiled bitterly and told Ma Jie what he saw not long ago. Meanwhile, many of the 7 evil spirits and the others on the northern mountain peak were disappointed when they saw the Supreme Devil return. If the Supreme Devil and the others still don't come, we can really try. As long as we can kill a few of them, especially the Blood Demon, the perfected cultivators in the sect will reward us handsomely. Don't you think so, boss? Hun Sha looked at the people of the blood refining sect who were enveloped by the blood-red light screen and slowly shook his head. You underestimate the Blood Demon too much, especially that old man Ma Jie. In such a spacious mountain range, even if he's alone, we may not be able to kill him. Earth Fiend could not help but ask, Boss, is Ma Jie also a pseudo-nascent soul stage cultivator like that monster? Hun Sha said in a low voice, Ma Jie is a fiendish cultivator from the same era as the previous generation of the 7 evil spirits, who are also the perfected cultivators. His lifespan is close to 500 years. After staying in the core formation stage for such a long time, I suspect that Ma Jie's Dharma treasure has already reached the mature stage. Coupled with his fiendish chi that exceeds cultivators of the same level by 50%, his strength is far stronger than a typical perfected core formation stage cultivator. Furthermore, Hun Sha's eyes flashed with a hint of caution. This old man must have the demonic seed orb. He can temporarily borrow the fiendish chi of a nascent soul stage cultivator and temporarily unleash the strength of an early nascent soul stage cultivator. You've all seen how powerful the demonic seed orb is. Earth Fiend and the others' faces turned ugly when they heard that. They recalled the scene in the Ouyang family's castle. Old Demon Pang's consciousness clone used the demonic seed orb's fiendish chi to severely injure the 7 evil spirit sect's nascent soul stage cultivator who came to rescue them. Although Old Demon Pang's strength was one aspect, it also showed how magical the demonic seed orb was. Fortunately, the restrictive power of the Yuan's secret realm was strong. They did not have to worry about the existence of a nascent soul stage consciousness clone. Back then, the perfected lords told us to hide our cultivation so that we could take Ma Jie by surprise and deal with him. The corner of Hun Sha's mouth twitched. But we didn't expect that Freak would force us to break through in advance in the devil-devouring swamp. Now that the blood-refining sect has discovered our late nascent soul stage cultivation, they will definitely be on high alert. Our chances of making a sneak attack will be greatly reduced. As soon as we show any signs, Ma Jie will probably activate the demonic seed orb without hesitation. Against an early nascent soul stage cultivator, our combined secret technique won't be able to do anything to him in a short time. Earth Fiend's face turned pale. Boss, you mean that Ma Jie will be able to fight against the 7 of us after using the demonic seed orb? If the blood-refining sect is determined to make a sneak attack, won't the 7 evil spirits be in danger? Hun Sha shook his head and said, the blood-refining sect probably won't take the initiative to attack. The demonic seed orb is a one-time use treasure. Moreover, because of the nascent soul stage cultivator's power, a core formation stage demonic cultivator won't be able to use it again for the next year. Ma Jie only has one chance to unleash his full strength in the secret realm. As for our combined secret technique, as long as we have enough demonic energy, we can activate it repeatedly. Therefore, this guy's demonic seed orb should be used for defense and not for attacking. Earth Fiend said, then, will the others have demonic seed orbs? Hun Sha frowned and said, this is also what I'm worried about. According to Lord Perfected Lord, the blood-refining sect only used one demonic seed orb in the secret realm 300 years ago. According to our sect's information, a treasure like the demonic seed orb is very troublesome to refine. Not only are the materials precious, but it will also deplete a nascent soul stage cultivator's vitality. Only a blood demon can activate it to its full potential. Therefore, this guy only has 2 demonic seed orbs at most. Hun Sha paused and said in a deep voice, after entering this mysterious valley, the 7 of us must stay together. Otherwise, the risk will be great. Earth Fiend and the others nodded solemnly. Hun Sha muttered, next, we'll wait for the Yin-Yang sect's people to come. The 30 Yuan Jade pendants will activate together to open the valley's restriction. Furthermore, the Yin-Yang sect will also share half of the blood-refining sect's energy. I wonder if that freak has the means to enter the valley. There's actually such a cultivator. After hearing Ji Mo's description, Ma Jie's eyes turned solemn. This person's methods are indeed very similar to those of the demon race. It's very likely that he was possessed by an ancient demon soul. Then, his body was assimilated by the demon race. That's why there's a lightning-type magic treasure in his body. After all, the ancient demon race is most adept at possessing cultivators' bodies. Ma Jie thought for a moment and said, however, if he's a demon soul, he won't be able to use the Yuan Jade pendant to enter this mysterious valley. However, the death of Song Li and Madame Ko means that we've lost 2 reinforcements. We'll be facing more pressure from the Seven Fiends sect and the Yin Yang sect. After entering the valley, we'll move in groups. We can't be separated. Chapter 760. A month later, on a small hill 40 kilometers away from the mysterious valley, Lu Kuan crossed his arms in front of his chest. Together with the little monkey on his shoulder, they were quietly looking in the direction of the mysterious valley. At this moment, Lu Kuan had changed his facial muscles and appearance. He wore a close-fitting black scale armor. The upper half of his body only covered his torso, leaving his arms bare. The lower half of his body was covered in shorts, leaving his knees exposed. The scale armor was densely covered in runes. It was also tightly attached to the skin, outlining Lu Kuan's sturdy muscles. Clearly, its material was very soft and didn't affect his movements at all. The back of the scale armor was inlaid with large amounts of gray feathers. These feathers were very smooth and laid flat on the surface. From the flickering metallic luster, one could tell that these gray feathers were as sharp as blades. From the outside, this scale armor looked like an incredible treasure. However, it didn't reveal any aura. If an ordinary core formation stage cultivator used their divine sense to scan it, they wouldn't even discover the existence of Lu Kuan and the little monkey. The scale armor itself also had the effect of blocking divine sense. Lu Kuan crossed his arms in front of his chest. He felt the coldness of the scale armor against his skin, as well as the elasticity that didn't affect the contraction of his muscles in the slightest. He revealed a satisfied expression. This scale armor was a treasure that he had refined using the molten armor as a foundation, mixed with many other materials, and borrowed the refining method of the puppet battle armor from the sentient puppets. It almost had half of the puppet battle armor's magical powers. These materials were all extremely rare. In the lava underground cave, the molten demon crocodile's leather had been refined by the dense devil chi for who knew how many years. Large amounts of iron feathers from the peak of the 7th level iron-winged demon eagle, and the spirit extinction or that Lu Kuan had once obtained in the land of death. There were also many precious materials that he had found in the storage pouches of several core formation stage cultivators. This treasure that he had named the Dark Spirit Armor had clearly reached the level of a spiritual magic treasure. It was somewhat different from ordinary spiritual magic treasures. The greatest function of the Dark Spirit Armor was its powerful defensive power and its ability to isolate divine sense. However, Lu Kuan's Fa Li was limited, so he couldn't display these 2 functions to the extreme. Even so, with the Dark Spirit Armor, Lu Kuan's battle prowess immediately increased by a lot. He could completely ignore some magic attacks, such as the black flames of the Demon Flame sect. After being weakened by the Dark Spirit battle armor, they couldn't do anything to his powerful body. After all, the weakest part of his body was his internal organs. Lu Kuan had also added the iron feather shed by the iron-winged demonic eagle to the back of the Black Spirit battle armor, which could increase his speed and greatly increase the defensive power of the back. It would have been extremely difficult for Lu Kuan to refine such a supreme-grade psychic treasure elsewhere. However, there was the lava catacombs in the mystic realm, not to mention the lava that was comparable to a core formation cultivator's core flame. The ground was incomparably hard and resistant to high temperatures, and the dragon-breaking stone could completely withstand the brute force of his bone treasure middle stage increase. As the cornerstone for refining a spiritual magic treasure, it reduced the difficulty of refining a spiritual magic treasure. Compared to the Dark Spirit battle armor, the spatial storage magic treasure in his rib cartilage and the self-exploding magic treasure in his fingernails were much simpler. Speaking of the storage magic treasure in his rib cartilage, Lu Kuan used the 2 Yao cores he obtained from Madame Ko's storage pouch to refine 2 pieces of rib cartilage into a spiritual beast space. One of them was for Shao Jin, and the other was for the mutated flying ants. These abnormally strong mutated flying ants had already fallen into a deep slumber after consuming large amounts of the Emperor gel. Presumably, when they woke up, there would be great changes. Squeak, squeak. Xiao Jin's eyes suddenly lit up, and she pointed into the distance and cried out. Lu Kuan raised his eyebrows and said, "Another 8 people have arrived outside the mysterious valley. They must be from the Yin-Yang sect. If that's the case, the 3 great demonic sects have all gathered, a total of 25 people. According to the words you eavesdropped, Xiao Jin, that mysterious valley's restriction can only be opened if 20 Yuan Jade pendants are activated together. Let's set off." Squeak, squeak. After speaking, Lu Kuan's figure flashed, and he appeared in the sky, directly shooting towards the mysterious valley. Originally, when Lu Kuan flew, his magic power would activate his bone treasure, and the purple light of his bone treasure would naturally leak out. However, at this time, under the cover of the dark spirit battle armor, only a figure without any aura could be seen flying in the sky. After Lu Kuan cast a concealment spell on himself, he completely disappeared in midair, and neither the naked eye nor the spiritual sense could detect him. The distance of 40 kilometers was very short. With Lu Kuan's speed, he didn't spend much time and soon arrived outside the central mountain range. The huge semicircular restriction was eye-catching. Lu Kuan didn't immediately approach it. He landed on a mountain peak 1 kilometer away and withdrew all his magic power into the depths of his bones, using the strength of his physical body to run through the mountain range. With Lu Kuan's magic power in the middle core formation stage, he couldn't completely display the concealment ability of the dark spirit battle armor. At such a close distance, the experts of the 3 great demonic sects might be able to detect Lu Kuan flying in the air. After landing on the ground, he only needed to use a simple concealment spell, and it would be very difficult for him and Xiao Jin to be discovered by the enemy. After passing through the broken mountain range for a while, Lu Kuan arrived at a light screen far away from the 3 great demonic sects. He activated his golden eye and saw the demonic cultivators of the 3 great demonic sects standing in the air in 3 groups and talking with each other. Not long after, these people seemed to have reached a consensus and scattered. Among them, 10 demonic cultivators of the blood refining sect flew directly to the light screen below, while the other 2 sects flew in the opposite direction along the light screen. It seems that these guys have discussed and will open the restriction together. I can take advantage of the chaos. The 7 evil spirits are coming towards me. Lu Kuan raised his eyebrows and lightly tapped his feet, and his entire body flew rapidly into the distance. Not long after, the 7 evil spirits seemed to have found a good position, and each of them took out a milky white jade pendant. Seeing this, Lu Kuan stopped about 1 kilometer away from the 7 evil spirits, and, at the same time, held the Yuan jade pendant in his hand. A moment later, Hun Sha, who was the leader of the 7 evil spirits, seemed to have received a signal. He gave a few instructions, and several of them began to activate the jade pendants in their hands. 7 rays of white light directly imprinted on the restriction light screen of the mysterious valley. The silver restriction light screen immediately trembled, creating ripples. A special fluctuation came from above, and the demonic chi that was surging towards this place also stopped. At the same time, there was a faint rumbling sound coming from within the restriction. It seemed that under the light of the Yuan jade pendants, some changes had occurred in the mysterious valley. Not long after, the light from the 7 evil spirits' jade pendants began to spread, wrapping around their bodies. Xiao Jin, enter my rib cage first. Lu Kuan sent a message with his divine sense. The little monkey nodded obediently, turned into a ray of light, and disappeared. Soon after, Lu Kuan also activated the Yuan jade pendant in his hand. The white light that appeared immediately attracted the attention of the 7 evil spirits in the distance. When their divine sense saw Lu Kuan's figure and appearance, as well as the Yuan jade pendant in his hand, various expressions of fear, surprise, and fear appeared on their faces. However, before the 7 evil spirits could do anything, they were brought into the light screen by the Yuan jade pendant and disappeared on the spot. Lu Kuan was also wrapped in the light screen by the Yuan jade pendant and disappeared into the light screen. 10 people from the blood refining sect, 7 from the 7 evil spirits sect, 8 from the Yin-Yang sect, and a total of 26 people, including Lu Kuan, all entered the mysterious valley under the light of the Yuan Jade Pendant. As soon as they disappeared, the silver luster of the restriction light screen became incomparably dim, and the color turned milky white. The ground on the east side of the restriction suddenly began to tremble. The soil and rocks on the ground cracked open, and a huge silver stone slowly rose from the ground. It was at least 30 feet tall, and there were 3 bold and powerful ancient characters carved on it. Chapter 761. 8 streaks of white spiritual light flashed under a certain light barrier within the chaotic valley, following which 4 pairs of men and women appeared. They were either handsome men or beautiful women. All of them looked extremely young. They were the demonic cultivators of the Yin-Yang sect that had just entered the chaotic valley. They briefly observed their surroundings and discovered that the restriction light screen was behind them. In front of them was a 1,000 feet wide area filled with all kinds of lush black shrubs. Another 2 kilometers in front of them was a dense forest. Waves of dense demonic chi emanated from the forest. For some reason, the Yin-Yang sect cultivators couldn't see through the forest with their divine sense. After observing their surroundings, the 6 Yin-Yang sect cultivators turned their gazes to the man and woman in the middle of the group. Their gazes were filled with reverence and fear. Under the gazes of these people, the man and woman gradually emitted a distorted black and white light, enveloping their bodies. After 3 breaths of time, the black and white spirit light gradually dissipated. The man and woman disappeared, leaving only a single figure in their place. This person had fair skin and was abnormally handsome. His hair reached his waist, and his eyes were as bright as the stars. His slender body was wrapped in a white robe, and he exuded a strangely seductive aura. From his appearance, it was impossible to determine his gender. The demonic chi on his body was extremely dense. He was a peak core formation demonic cultivator. One of the female cultivators with the largest breasts trembled and said, "Senior Marshal Brother Sue, this valley is quite strange. According to the sect's records, there has never been a valley like this in the mystic realm. What should we do next?" This extraordinarily handsome Senior Brother Sue, whose gender couldn't be distinguished, ignored her and turned his head to the right. A trace of confusion appeared on his face, and he muttered, "Strange, there was a fluctuation just now, but it disappeared in the blink of an eye." When the others heard this, they all became cautious. They released their divine sense and scanned all the shrubs within a 2-kilometer radius. However, they didn't find anything out of the ordinary. Senior Marshal Brother Sue frowned and said, "It could be a change in the restriction here." Then, he looked at the restriction light screen behind him and instructed, "Try and see if the Yuan Jade Pendant can return through here." Everyone else did as they were told and took out the first Origin Jade Pendant. White light flashed incessantly, but the light barrier only flickered a few times in the face of the first Origin Jade Pendant's light. "It's just as I guessed. If I want to go out, I'll also need a lot of Yuan Jade Pendants." Everyone's faces immediately turned ugly. They had entered separately from the other 2 sects in order to prevent any sneak attacks. They had not expected that after entering, they would be in a separate area and would not be able to leave in a short time. Senior Marshal Brother Sue said, "Okay, now we can only enter the forest in front of us. Take out your magic treasures and get ready to fight at any time." After he finished speaking, Senior Marshal Brother Sue took a step forward. He didn't fly in the air. Instead, he walked forward like an ordinary person. However, with every step he took, his figure flickered like a phantom, and he immediately appeared several feet away. His speed was even faster than the flying speed of a late core formation demonic cultivator. The other 6 people from the Yin-Yang sect looked at each other and obediently took out their own Dharma treasures. They circled around their bodies and followed closely behind Senior Marshal Brother Sue. They were all in awe when they saw Senior Marshal Brother Sue's divine ability. This Senior Marshal Brother Sue was called Su Junwen. He was the holy son that the Yin-Yang sect had secretly nurtured. If it wasn't for the opening of the first Origin secret realm, the 6 of them wouldn't even know of his existence. According to the elders of the Yin-Yang sect, Su Junwen's talent was unique. He had the legendary yin-yang saint body. This kind of body constitution was extremely rare. Even a dark spirit root was much more likely than a yin-yang saint body. The yin-yang sect had been established for tens of thousands of years. Only the founder of the sect had such a body constitution. As the name implied, the yin-yang saint body would allow one to cultivate all kinds of yin and yang techniques like a fish in water. Not only would their cultivation speed increase exponentially, their power would also be 50% stronger than other demonic cultivators. They would also be able to use some unique techniques. The technique that Su Junwen cultivated wasn't the famous yin-yang demon technique or yin-yang demon technique. Instead, it was another mysterious technique called the yin-yang illusion technique. One had to know that Su Junwen had always appeared as a couple in the yin-yang sect. Many sects in the state of Qi knew that the Su couple in the yin-yang sect were a pair of core formation realm cultivators. However, these people, including most of the core formation realm demonic cultivators of the yin-yang sect, didn't know that the Su couple was just an illusion created by Su Junwen alone. The yin-yang illusion technique was a technique that even nascent soul realm cultivators wouldn't be able to detect. It was truly strange. The distance of 2 miles was covered in the blink of an eye. Su Junwen led the 6 of them to the edge of the forest. At this moment, everyone's gaze was fixed on a 3-foot-tall rock outside the forest. This rock was emitting a mysterious wave. It was like a transparent wave that spread out in all directions and enveloped the forest. Everyone's divine sense was blocked by this transparent wave. Apart from this, there were also 3 ancient words that attracted their attention. Demonic Beast Garden. Su Junwen softly said, "Demonic Beast Garden? Could it be that there are a large number of demonic beasts in this forest?" The word garden seems to be a place where cultivators raise demonic beasts. Moreover, this rock seems to be the eye of a formation. The other demonic cultivators revealed excited expressions. Although there were a large number of demonic beasts in this secret realm, they were too scattered. Moreover, there were many restrictions in the secret realm, making it difficult for them to surround and kill the demonic beasts. If there really were a large number of demonic beasts in this demonic beast garden, wouldn't it be a great opportunity for them to hunt them down? They might even be able to tame a few demonic beasts. Su Junwen flicked his finger and a black and white ball of light shot out. It entered the forest of the demonic beast garden without any hindrance. Then, it expanded and turned into thin rays of light that spread out in all directions. Su Junwen closed his eyes and sensed for a moment. Then, he slowly said, "This should be the edge of the demonic beast garden. There are no living creatures here. This rock doesn't have any other purpose other than to block our divine sense. Let's go in." According to the situation in the secret realm, there are at most peak 7th-tier demonic beasts here. However, if there are many of them, it will be difficult for us to deal with them. Everyone, be alert and prepare your sets of treasures. Yes, senior martial brother. Su Junwen took the lead and walked into the forest. The others followed closely behind. About 15 minutes later, Lu Kuan's burly figure appeared outside the rock. He glanced at the rock engraved with the words Demonic Beast Garden, then looked at the forest and frowned. The 3 demonic sects are indeed not simple. The yin-yang sect was actually hiding such a person. I was almost discovered by him. This person gives me great pressure. He seems to have a way to threaten me. Then he patted his chest. A yellow light flashed, and Xiao Jin appeared on his shoulder. Lu Kuan transmitted his voice. "Xiao Jin, there are 7 people from the yin-yang sect in front of us. Help me listen carefully." The little monkey tilted its head, and its ears shook a few times. Its eyes showed a bit of disappointment as it whispered a few times. Lu Kuan's eyes narrowed. "You're saying that the restriction here is suppressing your spirit ears and reducing the range to 5 miles? Ji. The little monkey seemed to want to say something, but it suddenly stopped and stared into the depths of the forest. Lu Kuan also seemed to have sensed something. He was shocked. He said in disbelief, "Xiao Jin, you also felt it. There is a bloodline aura similar to ours in the forest." Chapter 762. 15 minutes later, the demonic cultivators from the yin-yang sect stood in an open space. Apart from Su Junwen, everyone else had summoned their magic treasures and were looking ahead in surprise. They saw a lizard beast under a tree 200 feet away from them. Its body was over 3 meters long, and aside from its head, its entire body was covered in purplish-black scales. There were also some irregular black bone spikes protruding from its limbs and tail, making it look sinister and terrifying. What terrified the Yin sect members was that apart from its head being a little flat and its mouth being a little long and narrow, this lizard beast's head was no different from a normal human's. Its slender eyes were glowing with a blood-red light. From afar, they could feel the bloodthirst of this lizard beast. Moreover, with their divine senses, they couldn't sense the demonic aura within this beast's body, so they couldn't determine its grade. Sensing everyone's gazes, the lizard beast stuck out a long red tongue and licked its fanged lips. Saliva flowed out of its mouth. It sensed the dense demonic aura from the demonic cultivators, but it didn't show any fear. Instead, it seemed to be very excited, as if it was treating the Yin sect members as delicious food. The lizard seemed to be unable to endure the gazes of the divine senses. It let out a frenzied roar of desire. It could no longer hold itself back. Its 4 limbs that were as thick as buckets dug into the ground, and its body shot out like an arrow toward the Yin sex group. As it ran, waves of chaotic, demonic aura spread out from its body. It seemed to be only at the level of a 5th-grade demonic beast. Su Junwen sensed the speed of this lizard beast. Black and white light flashed on his hands. 2 balls of light, one white and one black, shot out. They rotated around each other and emitted a shocking aura. With a loud boom, the black and white balls of light exploded. The strange lizard beast was directly hit. Su Junwen's divine ability was comparable to a high-level spell, so it was easily blown into the air. At the same time, the demonic aura scattered in all directions and turned into black and white threads that bound its huge body. The lizard let out a furious roar and swung its limbs and tail. The muscles under its purplish-black scales bulged, and the black and white demonic threads trembled under its brute force. It looked like it was going to break free at any moment. Su Junwen looked at the lizard's undamaged scales and black blood flowing out of its head. His expression became serious. He quickly transmitted his voice, "Attack its head." The other 6 people had already prepared their magic treasures. According to Su Junwen's instructions, 6 shining magic treasures attacked the lizard's head one after another. The Yin sect's demonic cultivators were all in the late core formation realm. The 6 magic treasures were extremely powerful, so they easily struck the lizard beast's head. The first magic treasure cracked the lizard's head, causing black blood to spurt out. The second magic treasure smashed the flesh on its head. After the third magic treasure's attack, the lizard's head was completely destroyed. The remaining 3 magic treasures landed on the lizard's body, which was covered in purplish-black scales. A few crisp sounds rang out, and many of the bone spikes broke. After the headless corpse fell to the ground, it no longer had any spiritual aura. Its limbs and tail twitched incessantly, and large amounts of sticky black blood flowed out of the wound on its head. It emitted an extremely vigorous blood chi. Senior Martial Brother Su, what kind of demonic beast is this? Although it's only at the 5th tier, its defense is so strong. Its head can take a hit from our magic treasures. Its bone spikes are fine, but its scales can take 3 hits without any damage. Its head is similar to a human's, but its intelligence is lower than a normal demonic beast's. It actually dared to attack so many late-stage cultivators. If a normal early-stage core formation cultivator encountered it, I'm afraid they would have to fight a bitter battle. After all, this guy's speed and defense are extremely strong. Su Junwen listened to the descriptions of the others, as well as the strange smell of the thick blood on the ground. He slowly walked forward, wanting to take a closer look at the corpse of the demonic beast. But at this moment, he seemed to have sensed something. He suddenly raised his head and looked at his surroundings. He cried out in shock, "This is impossible." When the others saw Su Junwen's reaction, they also looked around. Their expressions changed greatly. They didn't know when, but more than 10 lizards had appeared in the forest around them. None of the lizards revealed the slightest bit of their aura, so they didn't notice them for a while. These new lizards were somewhat different from the one on the ground. Some of them had human ears and lizard faces. Some had the mouth of a normal human and lizard fangs and skin. Many lizards even had sparse hair on their heads. There were also a few lizards that had human legs. Their thick legs stood upright on the ground, but their arms were covered with scales and sharp claws, just like lizards. Their faces were also a mix of human and lizard. There weren't many of these lizard men that walked upright. There were only 4 of them. They stood behind the other lizards, and their eyes flickered with red light. They seemed to be more intelligent than the other lizards. When Su Junwen saw this, his handsome face became gloomy. This meant that the lizard they killed was only a bait. Its purpose was to attract their attention and wait for an opportunity to surround them. This strange group of lizard men had clearly discovered them long ago. Su Junwen coldly snorted and said, "Humph, it's just a demonic beast. All of you, use your magic treasures and kill them." "Yes, Senior Marshal Brother." The other 6 people activated the magic treasures in front of them. Each man and woman activated their magic treasures. With the Yin-Yang sect's demonic arts and dual cultivation method, the power of the 3 magic treasures was not inferior to any magic treasures of the mature stage. They stood back to back and took the initiative to attack the lizards in 3 different directions. When the lizards in the distance saw this, they let out excited growls and rushed out. Chaotic demonic auras surged endlessly. These lizards' strength was average. They were basically the same as the previous lizard, only at the level of a 5th-rank demonic beast. Su Junwen stood in the middle of the group and coldly looked at the lizard men in the distance who hadn't made a move. He didn't make a move. The lizards didn't have a binding spell like him, so they pushed their speed to the limit. They constantly moved and dodged as they surrounded them from all directions. Beyond 200 feet, it was very difficult for the spiritual light of each set of magic treasures to block the advance of 4 or 5 lizards. However, after reaching 200 feet, the 3 sets of magic treasures completely formed a defensive line, blocking more than a dozen lizards. The lizards relied on their amazing defensive scales to enter a stalemate with the magic treasures. About 100 zhang away from the battlefield, Lu Kuan was standing on a thick branch of a tree, with the little monkey sitting on his shoulder. 1 man and 1 monkey were quietly watching the battle that was happening in the distance. Lu Kuan squinted his eyes. Specks of golden light bloomed in his eyes. These demonic beasts are very strange. Their fighting style is very simple. They only rely on speed and defense to fight. They seem to be weak, and the demonic energy in their bodies can increase their attacks. Chapter 763. These demonic beasts are really strange. When they're not moving, even my golden eye can't see how much demonic chi they have. Only when they're running and attacking will their demonic chi be released. This situation is somewhat similar to body cultivators. Lu Kuan looked at the battle in the distance, his eyes flashing with interest. But it's different from body cultivators. Body cultivators can use their Dharma power to activate Dharma treasures and strengthen their attacks. But these lizards' demonic chi isn't used for external attacks. There's no demonic chi on their claws and scales. Clearly, they're not using demonic chi to strengthen themselves. They're purely using their physical strength to fight. Lu Kuan's eyes flashed with golden light. They can only sense demonic chi when they're using their physical strength. This means that they're using demonic chi. Based on this, the lizard demonic beasts must rely on their demonic chi to unleash powerful attacks, unlike me who relies on my physical strength. Lu Kuan observed the battle between the strange lizards and the demonic cultivators of the Yin-Yang sect. He discovered the relationship between demonic chi and physical strength. The stronger the demonic chi of the lizards, the stronger their physical strength would be. The demonic cultivators' demonic chi increased the offensive power of their Dharma treasures and spells, while the lizard demonic beast demonic chi increased their physical strength. Lu Kuan also discovered that the stronger the lizards, the more similar they looked to humans. The ones with sparse hair on their heads basically had the demonic chi of a level 6 demonic beast. The ones without hair and covered in scales were level 5 demonic beasts. The 4 lizard demonic beasts not only had similar heads to humans, but their limbs were also very similar. They seemed to be able to walk upright. If this is the case, the lizard demonic beasts are at least level 7 demonic beasts. I just don't know how strong they are. If they fight like other lizards, they won't be a match for the demonic cultivators of the yin-yang sect. That androgynous guy in the lead hasn't made a move yet. That guy can make me feel threatened. He should have a way to activate the power of a nascent soul. Huh, they're making a move. They're so fast. While Lu Kuan was deep in thought, the 4 lizard men in the distance noticed that their subordinates were starting to suffer casualties. They immediately charged toward the yin-yang sect's group. With Lu Kuan's golden eye god ability, he could clearly see the lizardmen's thick, bucket-like legs. They hammered the ground like wooden stakes as they ran with enormous force. And at the moment the lizard men ran, the magic power of magical beasts at the peak of the 7th rank rose up from their bodies. It was clear that the strength of these 4 lizard men far surpassed the other lizard magical beasts. Their lightning-fast speed allowed the lizard men to cover a distance of over 30 meters in an instant. The strongest lizard man among them charged toward the yin-yang sect's group. The other 3 heads, on the other hand, came to the 3 sets of magical equipment tacitly and waved their thick arms that were covered in scales and claws, colliding with the sets of magical equipment. Dang, dang, dang. A series of crisp sounds rang out. The sets of magical equipment of the yin-yang sect were knocked back by the lizard men. Seeing this, Lu Kuan was even more shocked. As expected, they're using their physical strength. Their claws should be at the level of magical equipment. But to be able to knock back the yin-yang sect's magical equipment, their brute force must be close to 150,000 kilograms. Huh, this pair of magical equipment isn't simple. Lu Kuan then looked towards Su Junwen in the yin-yang sect's group. In front of Su Junwen, 2 crescent blades, one black and one white, had appeared out of nowhere. They emitted a deep black and white demonic light. When Su Junwen discovered that there was only one lizard man rushing towards them, he shook his head with some regret. Spirit light flashed in his hands as he formed a seal. The pair of crescent moon-shaped blades quickly split into 2, then 2 into 4. In just a breath's time, 32 crescent blades appeared around the yin-yang sect's group. Half of them were black, and the other half were white. Each of them emitted an extremely powerful aura. With so many magical equipment, it was as if 32 late-stage core formation cultivators were activating them at the same time. The little monkey, who was sitting on Lu Kuan's shoulder and watching the show from afar, turned pale when it sensed such a powerful aura. Its little claws clutched tightly onto Lu Kuan's ear as its body trembled uncontrollably. The little monkey wasn't even a 5th-grade demonic beast yet. Even though it was far away, it still couldn't withstand such a powerful aura. Lu Kuan's face was also pale. He was clearly affected by the aura of the 32 magical equipment. However, he didn't believe that this person could activate so many magical equipment at the same time. Thus, he poured his divine sense into his eyes with all his might. Dazzling golden light flashed through his eyes. So they're just illusions. Lu Kuan let out a sigh of relief before his expression turned serious. Although his golden eye divine ability could see that 30 of the magic treasures were illusions, he discovered that each of the illusions still contained a bit of power. Even if they were weaker than the real thing, the combined power of the 30 illusions wasn't weak at all. Moreover, the aura emitted by the illusions would greatly affect the opponent's combat strength. Lu Kuan relied on his golden eyes to barely distinguish the illusions of Su Junwen's magical equipment. Naturally, the lizard men he was fighting couldn't distinguish them. However, in the face of the overwhelming number of magical equipment, the lizard men charging toward them didn't show any fear. Instead, their eyes shone with a bloodthirsty light as they suddenly became manic. It was the same for the other lizard magical beasts. They all roared furiously as if they had been provoked by something. More than a dozen strange lizards with human-like faces roared together, making everyone present feel an inexplicable sense of horror. The strongest lizard man charged forward in a frenzy. Its eyes were fixed on the people of the yin-yang sect. It had lost its mind and didn't care about the magical equipment in the sky. The lizardman's actions were beyond Su Junwen's expectations. The crescent blades seemed to be very powerful, but they couldn't break through the dark purple scales on the lizardman's body. It could be said that the lizardman had made the best decision by accident. Su Junwen squinted his eyes and let out a cold laugh. He formed a hand seal, and all the black and white crescent blades quickly gathered together. They turned into a huge black and white crescent blade that emitted a terrifying aura. Facing such a terrifying attack, the lizard man didn't seem to have any intention of dodging. It waved its claws forward, and the red light in its eyes became even more dazzling. Boom! The bright light from the black and white crescent moon blade slammed into the lizardman's claws, creating a loud explosion. The lizardman's arms were directly blown away, and then the lizardman's head was hit by the crescent moon blade. The lizardman's head, which was almost the same as a human's, was instantly smashed into a bloody mist without any scales covering it. Lu Kuan saw this from afar and shook his head. The stronger the lizard man, the more human-like its head is. The defense of its head is actually lower, and its weakness is more obvious. It's fine if it has a weakness, but this lizard man is too stupid. It actually fought head-on. With its speed, it could have easily dodged. When I saw them using bait to attract attention, I thought they were very smart. I didn't expect them to have such low battle awareness. When Lu Kuan saw the lizardman's reckless attack, he knew that they weren't far from death. They weren't a match for the demonic cultivators of the Yin-Yang sect. Squeak. Chapter 764. The lizard magical beasts roared. Even though their strongest leader had been killed, they didn't show any signs of fear. These strange lizard magical beasts didn't care about their cracked purplish-black scales and the thick blood that was spurting out of their scales. They clawed at the ground with their four limbs and charged toward the Yin-Yang sex group. The most heavily injured lizard magical beasts had their internal organs clearly visible through the cracks in their scales. However, they still charged forward without any regard for their lives. However, their reckless attacks didn't have any practical effect. The Yin-Yang sex group only needed to retract their magic treasures and place them in the path of the lizard magical beasts. Then, they would be able to stop their attacks. Moreover, with the help of Su Junwen's black and white crescent blades, another lizard magical beast's head was smashed into pieces. Clearly, these demonic cultivators had discovered that the stronger the lizard magical beasts were, the weaker their heads' defenses were. If this battle continued, it would only be a matter of time before all the lizard magical beasts were killed. However, just as the Yin-Yang sex group felt that victory was within their grasp and they were about to calculate their spoils of war, the red light in the lizard magical beast's eyes quickly faded. The bloodthirsty and violent look in their eyes instantly disappeared by half. They stopped in their tracks and slammed their thick tails on the ground. Using the force of their tails, they quickly turned around and fled outwards. Two lizard magical beasts, in particular, used their human-like legs to push off the ground and leaped into the forest outside. They disappeared in a few flashes. This scene baffled the Yin-Yang sex group. They were originally waiting for the lizard magical beasts to deliver themselves to them. They quickly chased after the lizard magical beasts and only had time to kill a few injured 5th-grade lizard magical beasts. Most of the lizard magical beasts had already fled into the forest. Don't chase after a cornered enemy. Su Junwen stopped the group from chasing after the lizard magical beasts. A trace of confusion flashed through his eyes. These lizard magical beasts' behavior was very strange. First, they planned to surround and kill them. Then, they fought recklessly. It seemed like their minds were in a mess. Now, they suddenly wisely retreated. This was truly puzzling. However, this didn't seem to be a big deal. After the two strongest lizard magical beasts were killed and many 5th-grade lizards died, these lizards instinctively sensed danger and fled. Yu Fian, Dai Ming, you two are in charge of guarding. I found that the suppression of divine sense in this place isn't that simple. Although we can barely detect things 5 miles away, we couldn't sense the group of lizards just now. We only noticed them when they got closer. You guys focus on observing the surrounding weeds and trees. At the very least, the changes in the shape of the plants cannot be separated from the detection of our divine senses. Yes, senior brother. A tall man and woman walked out of the group. Their cultivation levels were the lowest among the group, only at the late stage of the core formation realm. Both of their hands formed a spell, and their spiritual senses intertwined with each other. A terrifying spiritual sense shot up into the sky, and the surrounding air became very oppressive. It was obvious that this spiritual sense had reached the pinnacle of the completion level and was not far from the original level. Seeing this, Su Junwen turned to the others and instructed, "Clean up the bodies of these demonic beasts. Their sharp claws and scales can resist magic treasures. They are definitely top refining materials. The demonic core in their bodies is also a treasure. It is the best refining material and can increase one's cultivation level." After he finished speaking, he activated his spiritual sense and probed the body of a lizard man in front of him. Then he frowned, and the crescent moon blade in front of him turned into a black light and shot into the lizard's neck. After a while, a blood-red pill the size of a thumb flew out. Su Junwen caught it in his palm, and a strange look flashed across his eyes. What kind of demonic core is this? Other than demonic energy, it seems to have the power of qi and blood. The two are mixed together. Just as Su Junwen was holding this strange demonic core, the man and woman who released their spiritual sense at the pinnacle of the core formation realm suddenly said, "Senior Brother Su, there is movement in the distance." Su Junwen was shocked and immediately put this strange demonic core into his storage pouch. Then he released his spiritual sense and found that the trees 1 to 2 miles away were trembling slightly. Many branches were pressed down in a huge arc. The changes in the branches were transmitted at an extremely fast speed. Clearly, there was some kind of creature that their spiritual sense could not see that was moving quickly on the branches. "Prepare for battle," Su Junwen said in a deep voice. Although he discovered that there were enemies coming, he was not too worried after seeing the combat strength of the lizard demonic beasts. Even if there were more of these beasts, they would not be a match for them. Moreover, he still had a trump card in hand. The other demonic cultivators of the Yin-Yang sect raised their demonic shields and looked eager to fight. The lizard demonic beasts that they had just killed had provided them with a lot of top-notch materials and made them a small fortune. At this moment, they looked at the dark forest in the distance as if they were looking at some stupid demonic beast that had walked into a trap. The distance of several miles was quickly covered. Su Junwen and the others finally saw the creatures that their spiritual sense could not see clearly with their naked eyes. They saw 8 strange-looking apes on 5 to 6 trees 300 feet away. No, they should be called ape men. Apart from the sparse black hair on their heads, their mouths protruding forward, and their crimson eyes, these ape men were no different from humans. Moreover, their muscular legs were also exactly the same as humans. There was almost no hair on them. However, apart from their heads and legs that resembled humans, the rest of their bodies were covered with several inches of thick black hair. Their arms were even more strange. 2 of the ape men had 3 arms. The arms on both sides of their bodies were abnormally thick and strong, comparable to their thighs. There was also a 3rd arm in the middle of their chests. However, this arm was 7 to 8 times thinner than the arms on both sides of their bodies. It looked very pocket-sized. There were also 2 ape men that had a single arm. This single arm strangely protruded from the right side of their chests. The single arm was covered in black hair and was almost the same size as the ape man's body. Together with its 2 legs, it stepped on the tree trunk below. It was as if it was another body that had split off. There were a total of 5 ape men with an abnormal number of arms. The other 3 ape men had 2 arms. However, these ape men with 2 arms looked different. One of the ape men's arms was only half the normal length. Its palms grew directly to its elbows, looking like 2 lumps of flesh with palms. Another ape man's arms were extremely long. Its arms hung naturally, and its palms and feet were placed together. Its palms and feet were holding onto the tree trunk below its feet. The last ape man had the strongest body. It was at least 1.5 feet tall. The length of its arms was relatively normal, and its wrists were at its waist. However, its palms were several times larger than the other ape men. They were at least 5 feet long. Its fingertips were also near its feet. Its entire palm was as tall as a person. It looked extremely terrifying. When Su Junwen and the other demonic cultivators saw these 8 ape men, They were immediately attracted by their strange arms. For some reason, a trace of unease appeared in everyone's hearts. The ape-man with the sky-high palms looked at the people of the yin-yang sect who were sizing them up. The red light in its eyes suddenly intensified. It opened its mouth filled with sharp teeth and let out a mournful and hateful roar towards the sky. This roar was mixed with a formless wave. It compressed the air and blasted towards the yin-yang sect. In an instant, it affected the people of the yin-yang sect. Chapter 765. After this ape-man roared, the other ape-men jumped down from the branches. Their thick legs and mutated arms stepped on the ground as they madly ran towards the group of demonic cultivators who had lost control of their bodies. As the ape-men ran, waves of powerful demonic energy appeared from their bodies. They were all 7th-grade demonic beasts, and the ape-man with the giant palms was even at the pinnacle of the 7th grade. 8 7th-grade demonic beasts. This was more than the yin-yang sect. Just from this strange control ability alone, it was clear that they were far more powerful than the lizard men. Su Junwen's face became twisted when he sensed the ape-man's speed and the demonic energy that he still couldn't control. He forcefully suppressed the boiling of his blood, and a strange fluctuation appeared in his divine sense. Large amounts of black and white mist surged out from his body and enveloped him. Immediately afterward, 6 black and white spirit lights shot toward the other demonic cultivators. With the help of this demonic energy, the other members of the yin-yang sect were finally able to suppress the boiling of their blood. After regaining control of their magic power, the 6 demonic cultivators discovered that the ape-men were not far away from them. The immense pressure caused their hair to stand on end. In this moment of crisis, the 3 pairs of men and women didn't hesitate to activate the golden core origin power in their bodies. A similar purple jade bracelet flew out from each of their storage bags. As soon as these jade bracelets appeared, they fused together and floated above the heads of each pair of demonic cultivators. 3 deep purplish-black spirit lights spread outward, forming a huge defensive light barrier that enveloped all of the demonic cultivators. As for Su Junwen, the black and white mist around his body had already dissipated. A pair of man and woman who looked similar to him appeared, and their bodies were enveloped in black and white demonic light. In order to break free from the blood's control over his body, Su Junwen activated the yin-yang demonic illusion mantra and transformed into a pair of man and woman. As expected, the doppelganger ability allowed him to break free from the blood's control, and he extended a helping hand to the others. The demonic energy of the yin-yang demonic illusion mantra had a great effect on the yin-yang demonic technique and helped the others break free from the blood's control. After the members of the yin-yang sect used their defensive techniques, the 8 strange-looking ape-men had already arrived before them. Numerous thick and strange arms, with ferocious fists at the front, directly bombarded the shield that seemed to have an astonishing defensive power. Boom, boom, boom. Several muffled noises reverberated in the open space of the forest. The pressure generated by the huge force even caused the surrounding air to explode. The invisible ripples caused the nearby weeds and leaves to turn into dust. The 8 ape-men's shocking attacks fiercely shook the purplish-black light curtain. The radiance on it had dimmed by more than half, but it was recovering at a visible speed thanks to the mana replenishment. Everyone from the yin-yang sect turned deathly pale. These 6 heavenly devil bracelets were rare treasures passed down by their seniors. If the 6 of them worked together, they would be able to withstand several attacks from early nascent soul cultivators. However, the 8 demonic apes in front of them only needed a single round of attacks to almost shatter the light barrier. Each of their attacks was at least at the nascent soul stage. If that was the case, even if their protective barrier could withstand the second round of attacks, it would not be able to withstand the third round. Su Junwen naturally understood this as well. Thus, his 2 clones began to form hand seals. The crescent moon saber in front of him trembled slightly before splitting into 4. It was as if he was going to use the same technique as before. However, just as Su Junwen made his move, a hint of resentment flashed through the eyes of the largest ape-man. Its arms were as tall as a human's. It opened its bloody mouth again. At the same time, it clenched one of its huge hands into a fist and slammed it into its chest. Roar! Just like before, invisible ripples erupted from its mouth along with a roar. Because it was too close, everyone from the Yin-Yang sect felt their blood boil again. Their ears were also ringing from this roar. Furthermore, their skin became extremely red. Blood vessels appeared on their skin. This roar seemed to have damaged their physical bodies as well. Su Junwen's magic treasure trembled and returned to its original state. It fell to the ground. The other demonic cultivators' demonic powers were also stopped. The ape men took this opportunity to launch another round of attacks. Without the support of demonic powers, the purplish-black barrier dimmed. However, it did not shatter. It seemed like the ape men's second round of attacks was weaker. Su Junwen's two clones cried out in pain. He once again used the secret transformation technique. Under the shroud of black and white mist, he returned to his original form. He regained control of his demonic powers and quickly shot out several rays of spiritual light to help the others break free from the restriction. The demonic cultivators recovered and replenished the demonic powers of the purplish-black barrier. However, under the close range of the roar, everyone's mouths were bleeding. It was clear that their bodies were injured. Su Junwen was the same. It seemed like his internal organs were also inexplicably impacted. Seeing this scene, Su Junwen's expression became extremely ugly. If they had used the same method to deal with the lizard men, they might have been able to fight against these ape men. The flexibility and attack power of the Yin-Yang set was not comparable to an ordinary set. They could completely avoid the opponent's fists and attack their fragile bodies. But who would have thought that they would be preemptively attacked by the ape men's strange magic? After recovering their control of their demonic powers, they could only passively defend against the ape men's demonic beasts. These late core formation demonic cultivators naturally did not have any spare demonic powers to use their life-bound magic treasures when they activated the Yin-Yang set. Hey, these ape men's demonic powers are being consumed so quickly. After using the Yin-Yang illusion demonic art to avoid the second round of control, Su Junwen suddenly discovered that the eight ape men's demonic powers were being consumed at a faster rate than them. Their attack power had also decreased. It was much easier for them to resist the attacks with their Yin-Yang illusion demonic art. If the stalemate continued, they would have an advantage. Just as this idea emerged in his mind, the demonic ape opened its mouth again. This time, it clenched its fists and punched its chest. Damn it, I can't hesitate anymore. When Su Junwen saw this, he made up his mind and fiercely activated a secret technique. The black and white demonic light around his body shone brightly. When the ape men roared for the third time, the demonic light gradually turned pure white. The casting of this spell was not interrupted by the ape men's abilities, but the same could not be said for the other demonic cultivators. This third roar seemed to contain even more power. Not only was their demonic powers interrupted, but their skin also ruptured, causing blood to gush out. The red light in the ape men's eyes shone brightly. The demonic power in their bodies quickly surged into their strange arms. Their fists suddenly expanded, and 10 or so fists bombarded the purplish-black barrier. The demonic aura emitted by the 8 7 ape men, the terrifying brute force of their fists, and the defensive light of the Yin-Yang sect's magic treasures created a towering aura. The dense demonic aura in the entire magical beast garden was stirred up by this aura. Many strange creatures with strong senses in the forest quickly retreated after sensing this aura. This violent wave of attacks directly shattered the Yin-Yang sect's purplish-black barrier. At this moment, the demonic light around Su Junwen's body turned completely white. A large amount of white saber light shot out from it and bombarded the ape men's arms. These white saber lights did not seem very powerful, but they contained a trace of extremely cold energy that gave people a great sense of oppression. After the ape men were struck by the white saber lights, the demonic power in their arms seemed to have met its nemesis. They quickly retreated, and their fists returned to normal size. The ape men whose arms had lost their demonic power were greatly weakened. They were all sent flying more than 30 meters away by the saber lights. Chapter 766. The ape-man leader with the horrifying palms was also pushed back 30 meters by the white blade energy. It felt the extreme energy entering its body. It panted heavily as its chest heaved up and down. Its furious eyes stared at the beautiful woman who just appeared. It roared angrily as a large amount of demonic energy surged out of its body and poured into its arms. As the demonic energy in its arms increased, the muscles on its arms bulged. Its black hair became sparse under these bulging muscles, revealing the hideous blue veins underneath. The other ape men did the same thing. Their 10-odd arms started to change. No matter if it was 3 arms, 1 arm, or 2 normal arms, they all started to expand rapidly under the infusion of demonic energy mixed with blood essence. The ape-man leader's enlarged arms, together with its huge palms, were even longer than its body. Its entire body was supported by those hideous arms. It had no choice but to press its palms on the ground and bend its elbows to maintain the stability of its body. After the beautiful woman felt the horrifying aura emitted by those mutated arms, her eager expression disappeared. Her body suddenly emitted a dazzling, white demonic light. The 8 ape men with huge arms couldn't help but close their red eyes in the face of the dazzling white light that suddenly appeared. The white light outside the beautiful woman's body took this opportunity to envelop all the demonic cultivators of the yin-yang sect, forming a huge white light ball. Then, an even more intense extreme yin energy appeared. The light ball trembled slightly and was about to shoot into the depths of the forest. The ape-man leader roared angrily. Its right arm that had expanded to 30 meters suddenly hammered the ground, creating a thunderous boom. Then, its huge body appeared in midair. Its other left arm quickly swung forward. Its huge palm contained a horrifying amount of brute force and slapped the edge of the white light ball. Rip! The defense of the white light ball didn't seem to be high. Under this brute force, a hole was easily torn open. Then, the huge hand grabbed the man and woman at the edge of the white light ball. The ape-man leader's body surged with a murderous aura. Its right palm that was previously slapping the ground fiercely swung toward its left hand. Pah! A loud sound rang out. The 2 ferocious palms clapped together. The severely injured yin-yang sect cultivators couldn't even react in time, and the magic barrier they were barely able to maintain was instantly pulverized along with their bodies. The men's flesh and blood were blown away by the brute force of the palm strike, creating a gale filled with the smell of blood in the air. The white ball of light ignored the man and woman who had been killed and took the opportunity to speed up. It turned into a white streak of light and quickly shot into the depths of the forest. The ape-man leader, who had just killed 2 demonic cultivators, let out an excited roar. Its thick, giant arms slammed on the ground, and together with the other 7 demonic apes, it wanted to chase after the white light. But right at that moment, they suddenly stopped. The 8 ape men turned their heads around at the same time. They seemed to have sensed something and turned around one after another, running in the same direction. The strange and thick arms dug into the ground like 8 huge hills. The trees on the way were easily knocked down, and a cloud of dust rose. The beautiful woman inside the white ball of light felt relieved when she sensed that the ape men behind them didn't chase after them. She lightly patted her storage bag, and a purple dress wrapped around her naked body. If it wasn't for the yin-yang illusion demonic art, we would have been in danger this time, the woman murmured softly. This beautiful woman with a voluptuous figure was Su Junwen. She cultivated the yin-yang illusion demonic art that no one cared about in the yin-yang sect. Only those with the legendary yin and yang body constitution could successfully cultivate such a top-tier demonic art. And Su Junwen had the rare yin and yang body constitution that only appeared once in 10,000 years. After the yin-yang illusion demonic art entered the core formation stage, it could split the yin and yang body into a man and a woman. The famous Su couple of the yin-yang sect were created from Su Junwen's main body. The biggest use of the yin and yang body constitution was that the male and female body could cultivate separately. The demonic power they cultivated would belong to Su Junwen's main body. In other words, Su Junwen, who cultivated the yin-yang illusion demonic art, was equivalent to two people cultivating together. Her cultivation speed was twice that of a normal person. Others would need 200 years to cultivate, but Su Junwen only needed 100 years. Although it was difficult to cultivate a top-tier demonic art, he was able to cultivate to the great circle of the core formation stage at the age of 200. His cultivation speed was astonishing. Moreover, Su Junwen's yin and yang body constitution allowed her to use her demonic art at the same time. The power of her demonic art was doubled. As for what Su Junwen just used, it was another great demonic art of the yin-yang illusion demonic art, the yin-yang rotation technique. The yin-yang rotation technique was to quickly fuse the yin and yang demonic power in the body and transform it into pure yin demonic power or yang demonic power. At the same time, it also transformed Su Junwen's yin and yang body into a single gender body. From there, it would completely stimulate the extreme yin or yang power. The extreme yin or yang power was the power of the nascent soul stage. A great circle of the core formation stage cultivator could easily fight against an early nascent soul stage cultivator. At the critical moment, just now, Su Junwen had used the yin-yang rotation technique and transformed it into the power of extreme yin in his body. His body had also turned into the body of a woman. Using the extreme yin power, which was a top-tier demonic power that only nascent soul stage cultivators could possess, she was able to repel the attacks of the 8 apes. Originally, Su Junwen wanted to use the extreme yin power in her body to kill all of the apes in one go. However, the apes' arms all grew strangely and made her feel the threat of death, so she cautiously retreated. The purpose of her coming here was not to fight these strange demonic beasts to the death. The extreme yin power produced by the yin-yang rotation technique will be used less and less. In the case of not being sure to kill the apes, Su Junwen naturally had to use it sparingly. Looking back at the remaining 4 people, Su Junwen sighed and then closed her eyes to sense the situation in her body. Fortunately, I reacted in time. Otherwise, even if I could kill 1 or 2 apes, these fellow disciples would all die. The ape's later attack power has definitely reached the early nascent soul stage. There is still a lot of nascent soul power left in my body, and I can still use the yin-yang rotation technique once to change from a woman to a man's body and stimulate the extreme yang power. If I use it sparingly, even if I face the blood devil who has activated the demonic seed orb, I won't be afraid. Su Junwen withdrew the extreme yin power in the white light ball and moved forward at a normal speed. Although the remaining 4 demonic cultivators in the light ball were surprised by Su Junwen's transformation into a woman, they did not say much. Instead, they quietly recovered their demonic power and recuperated from the previous battle. Su Junwen was deep in thought as he urged the white ball of light to fly. The yin-yang rotation technique can only be used twice in the core formation stage, allowing me to thoroughly experience the extreme yin and extreme yang power. With the help of the pure, true demonic water, I have a 100% chance to cultivate the power of yin and yang and enter the nascent soul stage. However, the real purpose of my coming this time is the complete Phantom Sun and Mother technique. This secret realm is somewhat similar to the sex station. There is a demonic beast garden where spirit beasts are kept, and it is likely that there is also a cultivation technique pavilion. If I get this cultivation technique, after I enter the nascent soul stage, I can completely transform the yin-yang illusion technique into the yin-yang child and mother technique. From the words of the 2 masters, this yin-yang child and mother technique is the most promising cultivation technique to enter the spirit formation stage. Chapter 767. Disregarding Su Junwen and the others who were running away, a few hundred meters away from where the battle took place. The 8 ape men had already arrived under an ordinary tree. Behind them was a messy forest. Their arms that had swelled up had now returned to their original size. The ferocious aura on their bodies had greatly decreased. Even the red light in their eyes had dimmed. Every ape-man seemed to be petrified as they stared at a branch on this ordinary tree. And on the branch was Lu Kuan and Xiao Jin, who was on his shoulder. At this moment, Lu Kuan's forehead was covered in sweat as he looked at the 8 ape-men nervously. The ability that these ape-men used just now is almost exactly the same as my arm connect ability. After activating their arms, their senses must have increased greatly. That's why they sensed that Xiao Jin and I share the same bloodline. Lu Kuan saw the battle that just happened. The combat power of these ape-men was truly terrifying. The first wave of attacks that hit the Yin-Yang sect's defensive barrier had at least 300,000 units of power. The power of 8 ape-men attacking together was shocking. Moreover, they could directly hit the demonic barrier with their fists. Clearly, their physical defense was also very strong. Lu Kuan looked at the ape-man leader, the one with peak level, 7 demonic power and huge palms. This ape-man used the control ability 3 times in a row. Even though they were a few hundred meters away, Lu Kuan could feel the blood in his body flowing faster. Of course, he recognized this ability. It was the control ability that the Black Mountain Ape could use after awakening the power of the vast fist. Lu Kuan even saw how the demonic spiritual energy circulated in the demonic veins back on Crescent Moon Island. However, unlike the Black Mountain Ape, this ape-man leader directly roared out this ability. It only used its fist to support it when it used it for the second and third time. Just from this point alone, the ape-man leader should have the bloodline of the Black Mountain Ape. However, these ape-men's swollen arms and the terrifying aura emitted from them made Lu Kuan change his mind. Only those with the bloodline of the Great Long-Armed Ape could use the Great Long-Armed Arm ability. These ape-men had the same bloodline as Lu Kuan, the bloodline of the long-armed giant ape. Lu Kuan's eyes flashed with a golden light. He carefully looked at the ape-man's eyes and revealed a thoughtful expression. He transmitted his voice, "Xiao Jin, you go back first." The little monkey looked at the 8 apes below. It could feel the familiarity of their bloodline, and its big, bright eyes flashed with curiosity. When it heard Lu Kuan's words, it immediately nodded obediently and turned into a yellow light, entering Lu Kuan's ribs. After Xiao Jin disappeared, the 8 apes seemed to have lost their senses. Their originally clear eyes began to emit a red light, and a savage and violent aura gradually emerged. Their strange arms twitched uneasily. So that's how it is. These ape-men's minds are in a mess. Previously, they relied on the Great Long-Armed Arm ability to find us. Under the close proximity of Xiao Jin's bloodline power, they recovered some of their consciousness. After Xiao Jin entered the storage space of my ribs, its bloodline was cut off, so the ape-man's consciousness began to become chaotic again. If that's the case, then I only need to... Lu Kuan took a deep breath. The spiritual power and essence blood in his body surged. The muscles on his arms bulged, and the veins on his arms trembled. His arms expanded by several times, and an inexplicable aura was emitted from his arms. The 8 agitated ape-men, after Lu Kuan used the Great Long-Armed Arm ability, quieted down one by one. They were stunned on the spot. The red light in their eyes quickly dissipated, and their eyes gradually revealed a look of confusion. After Lu Kuan used the Great Long-Armed Arm ability, he also felt the bloodline in his body throbbing, as if there was a sorrowful emotion pervading. This feeling made him unconsciously jump off the branch and land in the middle of the 8 ape-men. As Lu Kuan approached, the eyes of the 8 ape-men quickly became clear. They first looked at Lu Kuan in confusion, and then looked at their own bodies. Their eyes quickly flashed with fear and pain. Except for the ape-man leader, all the other ape-men let out mournful cries. Their strange arms constantly bombarded the ground, as if something tragic had happened to them. As for the ape-man leader, its eyes flashed with sadness. It looked at its terrifying huge palm and let out a whimper. "Hello." Lu Kuan tried to communicate with them, but found that these ape-men did not pay attention to him at all. They only cared about themselves and let out all kinds of mournful and strange cries. Lu Kuan had to let out the little monkey. When he first met Dahe, the mountain black ape, Xiao Jin was the one who translated. After the little monkey came out, it looked at the howling ape-man. Its eyes were full of concern, and its little claws were tightly clenched. Squeak, squeak. You said they're in great pain now. The little monkey nodded repeatedly. Just as Lu Kuan was about to say something, one of the one-armed ape-men raised its head and let out a mournful roar. Its pain seemed to have reached the extreme, and the muscles on its face were twisted. It raised its single arm that was comparable to its body, and its eyes emitted a trace of determination. Lu Kuan's pupil shrank. He subconsciously raised his arm and made a defensive posture. However, the one-armed ape-man did not have the intention to attack Lu Kuan. Instead, it used its thick fist to fiercely bombard its own head. Bang! A loud sound rang out. The terrifying force of 300,000 kilograms directly smashed its head into pieces. Blood and black hair splashed in all directions, and even dripped on Lu Kuan and Xiao Jin's faces. The thick fist seemed to have completed its mission and relaxed as if relieved of a heavy burden. The headless corpse fell to the ground with a plop. Why did you? Lu Kuan's expression stagnated, but before he could finish his words, the other 6 ape-men, except for the ape-man leader, seemed to have found a way to solve their pain. They raised their own ferocious arms. Boom! 6 consecutive slapping sounds were heard. The 6 ape-men adopted the same action and smashed their own heads. Under the sluggish eyes of Lu Kuan and the little monkey, 7 headless bodies of the ape-men fell to the ground. Black blood flowed out from their necks and soaked the ground. Squeak! Xiao Jin looked at the corpses on the ground and let out an anxious cry. She quickly rushed to the bodies of the ape-men and pressed her little hands on their chests. Her big, bright eyes were filled with tears as she whimpered. Lu Kuan's bloodline was throbbing more and more, making his chest feel stuffy. He wiped the black hair and blood on his face. An extremely sad emotion lingered in his heart. The bloodline in his body seemed to be wailing for these ape-men. The ape-man leader looked at the dead ape-men's corpses around. Its dim eyes revealed a look of relief. It looked at the howling little monkey and the sorrowful Lu Kuan. It put down its palm, and its eyes suddenly lit up. However, when it found that Lu Kuan's arm was gradually becoming smaller and its bloodline connection was weakening, it hurriedly whimpered. Xiao Jin was stunned. She raised her big crystal-clear eyes and looked at the ape-man leader in confusion. The latter let out 2 more anxious cries. The little monkey finally understood and quickly waved its hands in front of Lu Kuan. What? You said I want me to keep my arm in the state and not remove it? Squeak. Lu Kuan heard the little monkey's affirmation and immediately urged his blood essence and magical power to maintain his arm in the state. Only then did he remember that the reason why these ape-men were sane was because they were affected by his arm bloodline power. Chapter 768. After Lu Kuan activated the arm, the ape-man leader walked to the side of an ape-man corpse. The huge palm went straight into the corpse's chest and took out a red, demonic pill mixed with rich vitality. Then it did the same to the other corpses and took out a total of 7 blood-red demonic pills. Lu Kuan and the little monkey looked at each other and saw the puzzlement in each other's eyes. The ape-man leader's action seemed to be desecrating the body of its own kind, but it didn't seem to have any sorrowful expression. Its eyes seemed to reveal a sense of relief. After the ape-man leader took the demonic pill, it patted its broad shoulder and growled a few times. Squeak! After Xiao Jin's translation, Lu Kuan understood the ape-man's meaning. It wanted to take him to a place. Looking at the ape-man that was 10 feet tall, Lu Kuan was also very curious about its arm bloodline. He hugged the little monkey and jumped on its shoulder, while Xiao Jin climbed up the ape-man's head. At this time, on the left side of the ape-man's head was Lu Kuan's arm, which exuded a rich aura of the bloodline of the giant ape, and above it was Xiao Jin with a similar bloodline. Under the influence of the 2 bloodline auras, the ape-man's facial muscles twitched faintly, as if it was enduring some kind of pain, but the spirit in its eyes became more and more obvious. Shaking its head, the ape-man whispered again, "Woo-woo-hue." Squeak, squeak. After Lu Kuan understood its meaning, he closed his eyes and sensed, although I'm full of essence blood and don't need to attack, it still consumes a lot of magic power to maintain the arm. I can only maintain it for a quarter of an hour. The ape-man nodded. Its body was surging with rich magic power at the peak of the 7th level. It seemed that in the previous battle, it didn't consume too much. Under the stimulation of this magic power, it used both its hands and feet, ignoring the ape-man corpse on the ground, and quickly ran into the depths of the forest. Lu Kuan maintained the arm's strength and grabbed the tough fur on the ape-man's shoulder, thinking in his heart. He could feel that after the ape-man regained its consciousness, it had no ill intentions towards him and the little monkey. It was just that its behavior was too strange. Even if it took away the devil core, it shouldn't just throw away the corpse. Normal devil beasts or demon beasts would take away the corpses of their own kind. Could it be that they are not of the same kind? But the arm-opening bloodline in their bodies is genuine. Lu Kuan couldn't help but look at the ape-man corpses far away from him. Their corpses, a golden light flashed in his eyes. Through his golden eyes, he could clearly see that the sturdy body of the ape-man in the distance was gradually drying up. The originally incomparably thick arms and body full of muscles were shrinking at a speed visible to the naked eye. Lu Kuan's eyes were filled with disbelief. For a physical body that can unleash a force of 300,000 Jin, even if the soul dissipates, the body can't decay so quickly. If the physical body is so weak, how can it bear such a huge force? Lu Kuan was confused. His own path of body cultivation was to cultivate the physical body in the direction of a magic weapon. Only when the physical body was strong could it smoothly exert great power. Now Lu Kuan's physical body was at the middle stage bone treasure realm. His bones were all magic weapons, and the derived nails were comparable to the top magic weapon materials. The skeletal muscles that grew from the bones were not much worse than magic weapon materials. If he died, his physical body would have no problem existing for hundreds of years. But those 7th-level ape-men, whose strength was not much worse than his, had their physical bodies decayed in such a short time. It was really strange. Could it be related to the blood-red devil core that the ape-man leader took? Lu Kuan immediately thought of the ape-man leader's actions not long ago. Yes, that blood-red devil core is very different from ordinary devil cores. It contains rich qi and blood power, as if the essence of flesh and blood was condensed. Then he looked at the ape-man leader who was running wildly. Observing with his golden eyes at a close distance, he found that when the ape-man was running, there was a steady flow of magic power in his body that was injected into his limbs. Like the lizard men he had observed before, the muscles were powered by magic power in the body. Combined with the scene of the ape-man's corpse quickly decaying and the devil core that contained qi and blood, Lu Kuan suddenly understood. It seems that the devil core full of qi and blood is the core of their physical body. Only when this energy core is supplying energy, the physical body's defense and strength can maintain the level of a 7th-level magical beast. The operation of every muscle fiber depends on the support of this devil core. After the ape-man died, the body fell into silence. If the devil core that provides energy leaves the body will become worthless. However, in such a short time after losing the devil core, the body completely decayed, indicating that the essence of the body condensed in this qi and blood devil core is beyond imagination. The more Lu Kuan thought about it, the more he felt that it was possible. He couldn't help but think. The ape-man and the human race are very similar in body structure. The ape-man's strange body, why does it look like a path of body cultivation? When they broke through the 5th level, they didn't form a normal monster core or devil core, but condensed such a qi and blood devil core that gathers the essence of the body. Doesn't that mean that when the immortal cultivator is promoted to the core formation stage, they can also condense such a golden core with special power? According to Heisha, Yuan's secret territory is the place where Yuan sect studies the devil race power and purifies the true devil qi. The devil ape and the lizardmen before. Are they related to the devil race power that a Yuan sect studies? Lu Kuan fell into deep thought. Roar. Suddenly, a majestic roar interrupted his train of thought. Lu Kuan looked up and found that in such a short time, he and Xiao Jin had been brought into a high forest area by the ape-man. This roar came from the mouth of the ape-man leader and resounded in the high forest. Squeak! Woo! Along with the roar of the ape-man leader, the sound of many apes in the high forest responded. Many ape-man magical beasts appeared in the field of vision. They seemed to understand the roar of the ape-man and ran in one direction. Lu Kuan's eyes flashed with golden light. He found that these ape-man magical beasts were completely different from the previous ape-man. They were normal magical beasts. They used their own physical strength to run. This high forest was not big. Half of a quarter of an hour passed. They came under a tall tree that was several feet thick. There were already more than 30 ape-man magical beasts gathered here. All of them were below the 5th level, and none of them had condensed a devil core. After they saw the ape-man leader, they spontaneously came in front of it, seemingly waiting for instructions. Lu Kuan sat on the ape-man's shoulder, closed his eyes, and sensed for a while. He found that the bloodline of the ape-man magical beasts in front of him was very ordinary. Not only did they not have the same bloodline as him, they didn't even have a bloodline that was close to the Black Mountain ape. The ape-man leader glanced at the group of low-level ape-man magical beasts, turned his head, and roared twice. Squeak! I want you to go back to the spirit beast space. Understanding the meaning of this sentence, Lu Kuan was somewhat puzzled, but still nodded. The little monkey turned into a yellow light and disappeared into the ape-man's ribs. Seeing this, the ape-man leader stretched out its huge right palm. The blood-red devil core that it had taken from the 7 ape-men was quietly placed on top of it, exuding a rich chi and blood magical power. Chapter 769. Along the way, the ape leader was infected by the bloodline power of Lu Kuan and Xiao Jin, and its eyes became incomparably deep. It looked at the appearance of the demonic beasts around it, and the corner of its mouth drew into a fierce grin. Then, it took a deep breath, and the demonic power in its body fluctuated strangely. Seeing this, Lu Kuan's pupils shrank as if he thought of something. He quickly locked the blood in his body, and the muscles all over his body tightened. Roar! As soon as he finished, the ape leader let out an extremely violent roar, and an invisible wave spread forward along with the roar. Lu Kuan, who was sitting on its shoulder, trembled. His head was a little dizzy from the roar, and the blood flow in his body doubled. He staggered and fell to the ground with a plop, but other than that, he didn't suffer any other injuries. But the ape demonic beasts in front were different. When they were affected by the invisible attack, they didn't even have time to scream. Their bodies exploded without resistance, turning into clouds of blood mist. In just 2 or 3 breaths, more than 30 apes disappeared, leaving a black blood mist on the ground. Such a scene made Lu Kuan, who witnessed it all, shocked. The ape leader's magic power seemed to be a little different from before. In addition to the power of control, there was also a powerful offensive power that directly caused damage to the physical body. According to Lu Kuan's understanding of the Black Mountain Ape Vast Fist control magic power, this kind of magic power that targeted the physical body didn't have much effect on the physical body of the same level. The ape demonic beasts in front of him were all existences below the 5th level. Compared to the 7th level ape, the difference was too big. Naturally, they couldn't resist at all. No wonder the ape leader asked Xiao Jin to hide. It turned out that it was afraid that the little monkey would be hurt. As for Lu Kuan's words, it was obvious that the ape leader saw the strength of his physical body and thought that he would be safe. But why does the ape leader want to kill its own people? Then Lu Kuan reacted. No, the ape leader has the bloodline of the great long-armed ape, but these ape-type magical beasts don't. Just as Lu Kuan was puzzled, the 7 vitality demonic cores on the ape leader's huge right palm suddenly emitted a strange magical fluctuation. As if attracted by something, the blood mist formed from the bodies of the apes gathered towards the ape-man's palm and landed on the 7 demonic cores. Then, the ape leader opened its mouth, and a drop of dark red blood flew out and floated towards its right palm. Lu Kuan could feel the strong aura of the same bloodline from this drop of blood. As the drop of blood entered his palm, the ape-man leader's arm suddenly expanded as he activated the Connect Arm God art. The two huge palms joined together and covered the blood mist and the 7 demonic cores. Its eyes were closed, and the demonic power in its body was surging. It was as if it was refining something like a human cultivator. Lu Kuan's eyes flashed with a golden light. He found that in addition to the rich demonic power in the ape leader's arms, there was also a stream of blood essence moving from its body to its palms. The demonic power and blood essence seemed to be circulating in a special fluctuation. Lu Kuan subconsciously immersed his mind into it. After a while, Lu Kuan suddenly woke up. Oh no, the quarter hour is up. I can't maintain the Connect Arm God art. At this time, the magical power in his bones was almost depleted. After the infusion of magical power, his ferocious arms began to gradually shrink, and the bloodline aura of the great long-armed ape was also rapidly weakening. The ape leader seemed to be aware of Lu Kuan's situation, but it still needed a little more time to complete what it wanted to do. Roar! The ape leader, whose eyes were glowing red, let out a roar. Its head kept shaking, and a tyrannical aura gradually rose from its body. Squeak, squeak! A yellow light flashed, and Xiao Jin appeared on top of Lu Kuan's head. Affected by the bloodline aura in the little monkey's body, the ape leader exhaled a heavy breath. The red light in its eyes slightly dissipated, and the tyrannical aura stopped growing. It seemed that it had slowed down the loss of its mind. Xiao Jin's bloodline aura could not restore it. Lu Kuan could detect that the demonic power in the ape leader's arms was somewhat unstable, and the demonic power fluctuation in its palms was also somewhat chaotic. Woo-woo, squeak, squeak, his face changed slightly. Although he did not know what the ape leader was doing, it would be done soon. If the ape's mind was confused at this time, it might not be able to distinguish between friend and foe. Moreover, the energy in its palms made him very frightened. At this time, his magical power was exhausted, and without the help of the Connect Arm God art, he was not confident that he could resist it with just his physical strength. It seems that I can only use that move. Lu Kuan's mind touched the blood demonic power crystal in the depths of his bone marrow. The dried-up arm was quickly replenished with energy, and a violent and wanton aura crazily rushed into it. Lu Kuan's arms swelled up again, and the hair on them became long and black. His arms that had swelled up were immediately covered with long black hair, and the bloodline aura of the Connect Arm giant ape reappeared. However, there was an additional tyrannical intent in the bloodline aura at this time. Lu Kuan gritted his teeth and tried to restrain the tyrannical intent in his demonic arms. This intent would spread out when he attacked, and thus affect the enemy's consciousness. His demonic arms had already been sensed by Xiao Jin and Dahe before. They were both pure Connect Arm giant ape bloodline power, and the only difference was this tyrannical intent. The blood demonic power in his body was only enough to support 4 attacks, but if he maintained his demonic arms form, he could support it for about 60 breaths. The ape-man leader was affected by the bloodline aura of the Connect Arm giant ape. The red light in its eyes dissipated, and the blood essence and demonic power in its arms began to circulate again. After waking up, a determined look flashed in its eyes, and it opened its mouth to spit out a blood-red demonic pill that exuded demonic power. It was its own demonic blood pill. After the demonic pill entered its palms, the ape-man leader, with blood flowing out of the corner of its mouth, suddenly pressed its 2 giant hands together. Crackle! A large amount of extremely rich black gas, accompanied by several crisp sounds, gushed out from the gaps of its palms. This black gas was extremely pure demonic qi, and the level of demonic qi in the entire Gao Shulin seemed to have increased by several notches. Even the demonic beasts in other parts of the demonic beast garden could sense it here. After doing all this, the pale-faced ape-man opened its hands, and a drop of pale golden blood quietly floated on it. It waved its hand rather strenuously, turned around, and threw the drop of blood to Lu Kuan behind it. At this time, the ape-man discovered that Lu Kuan's arms were covered with black hair that was exactly the same as his. The pure aura of the Connect Arm giant ape bloodline was emanating from it. Because it had lost its gold core, the ape-man's aura became extremely weak. It tried its best to open its eyes wide to look at Lu Kuan's pair of chimpanzee-like arms. With full concentration, it naturally sensed the demonic aura and tyrannical intent inside, and showed an expression of disbelief. Then, it looked at Lu Kuan's eyes that were flashing with golden light, and as if it had thought of something, it showed a look of relief. Then, it opened its mouth with a satisfied and relieved smile, gathered the remaining demonic power in its body, and slapped its own head with its palm. Without the support of demonic power, its head was extremely fragile and was easily smashed into pieces. The huge ape-man's body slowly fell to the ground. Squeak! Squeak! The little monkey anxiously jumped on the spot and rushed out, letting out anxious and sad cries. When the ape-man committed suicide, Lu Kuan was completely attracted by this drop of pale golden blood. The pure aura of the bloodline emitted from it made the blood essence in his body tremble violently. At this time, the demonic blood power was also exhausted, and the demonic arms were automatically withdrawn. Then, this drop of golden blood sank into his forehead without any hindrance and disappeared. Chapter 770. After Lu Kuan was hit by a large amount of information, he felt his vision go black and his consciousness become dizzy. But it didn't take long for him to wake up. And where is this? Lu Kuan was extremely surprised. What appeared in front of him was a blurry scene. There seemed to be a huge black abyss in the distance, and there was a large amount of black light flashing inside. The ground was trembling violently, and rocks were constantly cracking at the edge of the abyss. A large number of boulders rolled down the abyss, making a huge roar. At the same time, he could vaguely hear countless roars and sounds of fighting. After looking at the scene in the distance, Lu Kuan realized that the horizon was vertical in his vision, and there was moist black soil at the edge of his vision. Obviously, his head was lying on the ground, looking sideways into the distance. Why am I on the ground? Lu Kuan, who was puzzled, immediately tried to stretch his body. Hiss! Just as he thought about it, he felt countless heart-wrenching pain, as if his whole body was falling apart. There was no part of his body that didn't hurt. Based on his experience of physical pain, the bones in his body had probably been shattered. No, I can't control my body. Lu Kuan had been cultivating his body for a long time, so he was very sensitive to his physical body. He immediately realized that he couldn't control his body, as if this body didn't belong to him. Just as he was thinking about this, a huge gap suddenly exploded at the edge of the black abyss in the distance, and a large number of boulders were blasted into dust. Lu Kuan heard another deafening roar. This roar seemed to be the anger of the earth, and heaven and earth seemed to be trembling. The black soil at the corner of his vision shook violently, and a large amount of dust surged, blocking the view of the abyss in the distance. Then, a strong gust of wind blew his uncontrollable body away, causing him to roll on the ground. It affected the countless wounds on his body. Then, Lu Kuan's vision turned black, and everything fell into silence. It was as if what happened just now was just an illusion. What's going on? Did I fall into some kind of illusion? Just as Lu Kuan was thinking this, a faint light appeared in front of him again. The scene outside became even more blurry, and he could barely make out the figures of two humans. However, his physical sense of hearing did not disappear. He could hear voices. Lu Kuan could tell that this was an ancient language of the immortal cultivation world. A deep male voice said, "Senior brother, this young long-armed ape won't be able to live for long. Its bones are almost shattered, and its internal organs have turned into paste. If it wasn't for the blood in its body supporting it, it would have died long ago." The other person seemed to hesitate for a moment, then said with an incomparably old voice, "Give it a life-prolonging pill." I'm afraid this is the last long-armed giant ape in the cultivation world. We can't let it die so quickly." The man with the deep voice seemed to be incomparably shocked. He shouted, "Senior brother, you're crazy. With this top-grade life-prolonging pill, you can at least extend your life by 100 years. With Senior Brother's aptitude, you can definitely enter the immortal transformation stage and greatly increase the strength of our human race. This little monkey's soul is weak. The life-prolonging pill can at most let it live for a few more months. We can't waste it like this." The old voice said, "Cough, cough, Junior Brother, in the battle just now, the devil race suffered heavy losses. The space crack was destroyed by our race's seniors. The scales of victory have already tilted towards us. It's a pity that the demon race's vitality was greatly damaged. If the demon race invades next time, our human race alone will not be able to resist. The plan now is to thoroughly learn the demon race's cultivation technique, and even let us cultivate a powerful physical body like the demon race." The deep male voice could not help but interrupt. "What does this have to do with the long-armed giant ape?" The old voice said, "The long-armed giant ape's arms can absorb and refine the 5 elements spiritual energy like the immortal cultivators. Moreover, in a battle not long ago, we also discovered that the long-armed giant ape can operate demonic power. Most importantly, it is the race most similar to the human race among the demon race. All of this shows that the long-armed giant ape is the link between the demon race and the immortal cultivator's physical body. It is definitely a great help for us to study the demon race's physical body cultivation technique. We must bring it back alive. This little guy's soul is fluctuating. This old man just happened to let it swallow the life-prolonging pill." Soon after, Kuin saw a figure appear in front of him and throw a pill into his mouth. Then his vision turned black again. Before he closed his eyes, he seemed to see himself covered in golden hair. When he woke up again, Lu Kuin found that he was lying in a dusky space. A strong medicinal smell rushed into his nose. His back was pressed tightly against an ice-cold metal. His body seemed to have lost consciousness and was unable to move. "Great Elder, this is still a little monkey that has just reached the 2nd level. What you're doing may not be useful. Humph, 3rd junior sister, you're being too soft-hearted. This young long-armed ape was originally going to die. We have already helped it extend its life for so long. This is already the most benevolent thing we can do. Right now, we are only refining its physical body into blood essence and exerting its last bit of strength." But Great Elder, barely able to catch a few words, Lu Kuan saw a crimson flame appear in front of his eyes. A scalding heat wave came from his back. That terrifying temperature even burned his soul. In front of his eyes, there was darkness again. "Little guy, quickly wake up." This time, he seemed to have stayed in the darkness for a long time until he heard a woman's voice. Then, there was a white light in front of his eyes. A woman with an ordinary appearance and a cold face appeared in front of him. This time, the scene he saw was very clear. It was not as blurry as the previous times. He could see every strand of the woman's hair clearly. "Gigi." Lu Kuan suddenly opened his mouth uncontrollably and let out a cry. Then, he felt his limbs being suppressed by an irresistible force, making him unable to get up. His eyes, however, were looking around. "I'm in the body of a monkey. Could it be the long-armed ape I heard in the illusion? No, this monkey has black hair." Lu Kuan saw his own body reflected in the woman's eyes. It was a little black monkey. This monkey did not seem to know Lu Kuan's existence at all. It kept crying out, its voice full of panic. And Lu Kuan also saw the surrounding scene through the monkey's eyes. The little monkey was lying on the ground. Other than the woman in front of him, there seemed to be 2 other men standing beside her. Right above them was a bright white light shield. Very good. The Great Elder's blood essence separation formation is very effective. Out of 100 young apes, only 2 of them could not withstand the blood essence of the long-armed giant ape and died. The rest have successfully integrated with the blood essence. The woman with an ordinary appearance saw that the little monkey's life force was active. She stood up and said to the other 2 in a cold voice. A man's voice came. This is also because of the great elder's foresight. This time, we caught apes close to the long-armed giant ape. Senior sister, the one in front of you is a pure black mountain ape. The woman's voice was excited. Very good. Our first step is completed. The second step is to select 98 disciples who have just started to cultivate the demonic son and mother technique and let them refine these little monkey with a long-armed giant ape into subbodies. She said fanatically, through their control of subbodies, we can let these little monkeys cultivate the demonic body technique that we have researched. As long as one monkey succeeds, we can cultivate a powerful body like the devil race. In this way, even if the devil race reappears, they will not be our match. The third man said with some hesitation, but senior sister, this batch of people who cultivate the demonic son and mother technique only has 200 foundation establishment disciples. This technique has not been completely perfected. If we take out half of them at once, won't? The woman said coldly. Shut up, we don't have much time left. We can only take the risk. Even if more than half of these people die, we will not hesitate. The demonic son and mother technique is so special. The other 100 people also have other arrangements. The risk is not much less than this. After the woman finished speaking, Lu Kuan felt his body being lifted into the air by an invisible force. Then, a white light shot over, and his vision became dark again. However, when his body flew up, the little monkey's sharp eyes let him see a milky white jade pendant hanging on the waists of the 3 cultivators. There were 2 ancient characters engraved on the jade pendant. Chapter 771. Seeing the word Yuan, Lu Kuan understood that the cultivators he saw were all from the Yuan school. These illusions were most likely caused by the drop of pale golden blood. It was rumored that the demon beasts with top-notch bloodlines had bloodline inheritance, but Lu Kuan didn't expect that the bloodline inheritance would appear in the form of memory fragments. Not long after in the darkness, Lu Kuan heard a man's crazy laughter. Ha ha! I succeeded in the first step, refining this little monkey into a subbody. A white light lit up in Lu Kuan's field of vision, and he saw a naked man with strange purple lines on his skin. The man laughed like a madman, raising his hands, and his rough face looked incomparably ferocious. My good brother, the path I chose is the correct way to solve the problem of body refining. The one you chose is just an unorthodox path. With the ape with the bloodline of the long-armed giant ape as a subbody, the mystery of the demon race's body refining will definitely be solved by me, and thus, I will research a suitable body refining technique for the human race. After the rough man finished speaking, he looked at the little ape with a persistent and crazy look, as if he was looking at Lu Kuan across space. Squeak, squeak! A panic cry suddenly sounded from the bottom of his heart, and Lu Kuan found that his body began to move forward stiffly. The cry came from the depths of his soul, and the young mountain ape seemed to be unable to control its body, and could only cry helplessly in the depths of its soul. The little ape was manipulated in front of the rough man. My sex elder is worthy of being a top-notch powerhouse, and he created a strange demonic technique like the phantom child mother technique. Under this magical power, this mountain ape cub is like my clone, and I can control it freely. After muttering to himself, the rough man closed his eyes to recover. Half a day later, Lu Kuan felt a not-so-strong divine sense enter his body. Based on his experience, he judged that this was the divine sense of the peak of the foundation establishment stage, only one step away from the core formation stage. It's very similar to a human's body, but it's much stronger than a human's. This kind of subbody is perfect for experimenting with cultivation methods. Then, the boorish man opened his eyes and couldn't contain his excitement. He took out a lot of spellcasting materials and several black magic stones. After thinking for a while, he arranged them around the little ape. After about a quarter of an hour, the man constructed a rather complicated magic circle with the little ape as the center. The runes engraved on it were strange in shape. Lu Kuan had never seen them before. After the formation was completed, Hong Yuntong's divine sense, which had entered the little monkey's body, carried the little monkey's divine sense, which did not resist and began to circulate in a strange path. The magic stones in the magic circle gradually exuded a rich devil chi along with the operation of Shermu's mind. Then, the devil chi rushed into the small ape's body. When the first trace of devil chi entered his body, Lu Kuan felt a piercing pain in his muscles. The blood in his body immediately produced an extremely repulsive force, and the devil chi was blocked outside for a while. The boorish man's divine sense seemed to have discovered this. After a little hesitation, he increased the speed of circulation and attracted more devil chi. The amount of devil chi poured into the body immediately increased. The little ape's body couldn't stop it. It could only be invaded by a large amount of devil chi, causing the pain from the outside to the inside of the body to become more and more intense. There were continuous crackling sounds in the body, and many muscle fibers and blood vessels burst open. The little ape's divine sense naturally also felt the pain of the body, but because the body was controlled, it could only make a tragic cry in the depths of its soul. This degree of pain was nothing to Lu Kuan, but when he heard the mournful cry of the little ape in the depths of his soul, he felt incomparably distressed. It was more uncomfortable than the pain of the body. The man frowned when he saw the blood overflowing from the little ape's body. It's injured so quickly? This is the magic circle modified by the great elder according to the enlightenment method of the devil race. Even the survival rate of the young devil race is extremely high. It's impossible, or the body of a young ape is not strong enough. Not good. The devil chi has entered the internal organs. The boorish man's panicked voice came to his ears. Lu Kuan seemed to hear something in his body breaking. There was a tragic cry in the depths of his soul, and then his vision turned black. It didn't take long for Lu Kuan to wake up again. The most eye-catching thing was a transparent light curtain that covered the body of the little ape. The boorish man was standing outside the light curtain, and there was an ordinary-looking woman next to him. It was the female cultivator of the Yuan sect that the young mountain ape saw. There were several small magic circles on both sides of them, and the bodies of the young black-haired apes were lying on each of them. They died very miserably. The arm of one of them was badly mutilated, and the head of the other one was missing. There was a bloody hole in the chest of the other two apes. Only the ape at the corner of his eyes looked relatively intact, but the black hair of its body was covered with blood. Woo-woo, the soul of the young ape seemed to have seen the miserable scene of its own kind, and it let out a sorrowful whimper, which was full of bitterness and despair. Feeling this, Lu Kuan felt as if there was a stuffy breath in his heart, and it was very uncomfortable. Although he could only see the scene in front of him, according to the layout of the magic circles around him, there were obviously a few young apes' bodies behind him. Just when the soul of the little monkey was whimpering, the ordinary-looking woman suddenly looked over and raised her eyebrows. Hong Yuntong, although the internal organs of your child body are damaged, its vitality is still tenacious. It seems that it has completely absorbed the blood of the great long-armed apes. Since you're the disciple with the highest aptitude in the Hong family, I will help you one last time to purify the blood essence of these 8 young apes. The next step is up to you. Hong Yuntong was naturally the boorish man. He said in a deep voice, "Ancestor, don't worry. Yuntong is confident this time." The woman said expressionlessly, "I hope so. You know, your brother's progress is much smoother. The child body already has the strength of the late Qi refining stage. It can even pose a threat to foundation establishment stage cultivators. But now, you're just at the beginning stage." Hong Yuntong's face was a little ugly. He gritted his teeth and said, "Ancestor, I was too hasty with the enlightenment magic circle before. Now, I have the right direction." The ordinary-looking woman looked at the position of the little ape and said coldly, "You have to think carefully. If you fail, not only will your child body die, but your soul will also be permanently damaged, and you will become a retard." Hong Yuntong's face was full of determination. "Ancestor, I have thought it through." The woman nodded slightly and said, "Okay, I will activate the magic circle. You control your child body." Hearing this, Hong Yuntong controlled the little ape to sit down cross-legged. Streaks of fiery red light appeared in the magic circle around them. Even through the protective shield, Lu Kuan could feel the high temperature that burned his soul. The bodies of the apes inside were instantly refined and turned into faint blood qi, which was absorbed into the magic circle below. Not long after, a bloodline aura of the same origin was transmitted from the little ape's body. Han Yuntong opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of thick blood essence. Then, he formed a hand seal and shot out streaks of black demonic light. The black demonic light carried the blood essence and entered the transparent shield around the little ape, dyeing it dark red. Then, Lu Kuan sensed that the blood essence of the same origin under him was also slowly flowing into the shield. Gradually, streaks of strange demonic aura began to appear. Then, Han Yuntong's consciousness entered the little monkey's body, and with the little ape's soul consciousness, it began to circulate in the body. This time, the circulation route was very different from the last time. The focus was on the little ape's arm, and the strange demonic aura on the shield was quickly attracted by something and slowly flowed into the little ape's body. No, it should be said that it was the arm. Lu Kuan possessed the little ape's body and instantly felt a stabbing pain in his arm, as if it was pierced by thousands of needles. Especially the bones in his palm, the pain was even more obvious. There was also a tingling feeling inside, and his body involuntarily twitched. The little ape's soul was tormented by such pain that it almost fainted. It didn't even have the strength to scream, and could only let out unconscious groans. And Han Yuntong's consciousness seemed to be unable to sense the little bit of pain in the ape's body, and was still circulating the path of his consciousness. The eyes of the woman next to him bloomed with white light. Looking at the little monkey's body, she seemed to understand Han Yuntong's means. She murmured, "This guy actually used the bloodline as an entry point." After an unknown period of time, the pain in the ape's hands reached the extreme. Suddenly, there was an explosive sound, and the pair of little ape's hands actually doubled in size. Vast Fist. The little ape's aptitude is so high. It has awakened the Vast Fist before becoming a demonic beast. Dahe only awakened it at the second level. Lu Kuan felt that it was inconceivable. Hey, there's demonic power in the body. This little guy has become a first-level demonic beast. This demonic power aura is very strange. It seems familiar. After the demonic power appeared, Han Yuntong's body trembled slightly, but he suppressed his excitement and continued to use his consciousness to control the demonic power. In this way, he circulated the demonic power with a unique aura in the ape's body for a full day and night before it slowly stopped. His tired eyes bloomed with ecstasy, and he said in a hoarse voice, "Ancestor, my improved method is really effective. Not only did it generate demonic power in the ape's body, but can also nourish the body. It's almost the same as the demonic power in the body of those demons. But the attribute of this demonic power is a little strange. It seems to be contaminated with the power of blood and qi." Hearing this, the woman's voice trembled a little. Qi and qi demonic power? Nourish the body? Very good, Yuan Tong. You've done well. I'll immediately report to the elders. You continue to cultivate according to your own ideas and observe the characteristics of this demonic power. If you can cultivate such a demonic power to strengthen the body, you'll be the greatest contributor to our sect. Chapter 772. Lu Kuan was experiencing the different magical power in his body while listening to the conversation between the two people from Yuan School. Qi and blood magical power. I remember that the magical power of lizard men and ape men is very similar to this. Does this bloodline inheritance want to tell me how the magical power of qi and blood is formed? Looking at the huge fists in front of him, Lu Kuan was somewhat convinced that the identity of this body should be that of the ape-man leader, but there were still many doubts in his heart. After entering the illusion, he couldn't perceive his own body, and he couldn't sense it with his spiritual power. It was as if he had fallen into a real dream. Haha, I finally reached the peak of the 4th level. It seems that this power technique has basically taken shape, and there are not too many flaws. I can use it on myself. Han Yuntong was sitting cross-legged in a cave full of mochi. He was looking at a huge Dahe gorilla sitting in front of him with a happy face. The gorilla was sitting on the ground and was as tall as a person. Its eyes were dull, and its body was exuding the magical power of the peak of the 4th level. Its palms were astonishingly large and were almost half the size of its body. However, the muscles on the body of the gorilla were somewhat thin compared to its body size. Although its body was tall, it looked very thin and weak overall. The gorilla was the mountain black ape that Lu Kuan had possessed in the illusion. At this time, it was already the 80th year in the illusion. Since the little monkey had become a level 1 magical beast, Lu Kuan had been keeping awake. After that, Hong Yuntong had continuously used his spiritual power to control the magical power of qi and blood in the body of the mountain ape. He had used various routes to absorb and transform the magical power. These routes were various and the effects on the body were different. Obviously, Hong Yuntong was using the body of the mountain ape to test the power technique. The little monkey's body had been subjected to countless bright lights during the experiment. Its muscle fibers and blood vessels had been ruptured countless times. Fortunately, after awakening the Hao Chuan technique, the recovery ability of the body had become extremely powerful. Every time it was injured, it would rely on the recovery ability of the body to recover. In addition, Hong Yuntong had obtained the support of Yuan School and had collected a lot of medicines that had the effect of restoring the body. The only change was that the Black Mountain Ape's palm was getting bigger and bigger. It was different from the vast fist that Lu Kuan remembered. Dahei's vast fist was of normal size when it was not activated. It would only expand after it was activated. Moreover, Vast Fist could increase the strength of the fist. However, the Vast Fist that Lu Kuan possessed did not increase the strength of the Vast Fist. As for the Black Mountain Ape's soul, as its body was repeatedly ravaged, it went from howling in pain to remaining silent. Even when faced with the pain that made Lu Kuan grit his teeth, its soul remained indifferent. The situation of its soul made Lu Kuan feel extremely stifled. He had been suppressing his anger and had nowhere to vent it. After experimenting for 5 years, Hong Yuntong finally found a suitable magic power circulation route and formed the embryonic form of the technique. This technique allowed the Black Mountain Ape's vitality and demonic energy to continuously increase. At the same time, the vitality and demonic energy would continuously strengthen its muscles, bones, and internal organs during the cultivation process. After confirming the circulation route, the vitality and demonic energy in the body of the Black Mountain Ape turned into a liquid state and entered the level of a 2nd-level magical beast. After that, things went much smoother and the number of modifications to the circulation route became less and less. With the help of the Yuan School and the amazing aptitude of the Black Mountain Ape, it reached the peak of the 4th level in just 80 years. Such a new technique's cultivation speed made Hong Yuntong more and more valued in the sect. After Hong Yuntong's experiments, the Yuan School gave the technique to the other disciples who possessed the ape body. In these years, Lu Kuan had been possessing the body of the Black Mountain Ape and had witnessed the process of Hong Yuntong's creation of this strange body refining technique. His understanding of this technique was far beyond that of Hong Yuntong, the creator. From Lu Kuan's point of view, this body refining technique was not much different from a normal immortal cultivation technique. All the energy was circulating in the meridians. The reason why it could greatly strengthen the body was because of the strange vitality and demonic energy. In these years of cultivation, the Black Mountain Ape's body and vitality and demonic energy were constantly improving and becoming stronger. However, the vitality and demonic energy gradually became inseparable from the body. The two were in a symbiotic relationship. The reason why it was called symbiotic was because they could not exist independently except for coexisting. In the process of battle, the vitality and demonic energy could not be used for any magic except for supplying energy to the body. If it left the body, it was just a useless, inert energy. In the process of cultivation, the vitality and demonic energy not only absorbed the demonic energy, but also absorbed the nutrients of the body to strengthen it. At the same time, it nourished the body to ensure that the body became more and more nutritious, thus making it stronger. However, if it left the body, it could not be strengthened by the demonic energy alone. In the process of battle, the vitality and demonic energy was the source of energy for the body. With the vitality and demonic energy, the body's strength, defense, and recovery would become extremely strong. However, without the vitality and demonic energy, the body would be extremely ordinary and much worse than demon beasts of the same level. In the process of cultivation, the body could only rely on the vitality and demonic energy to nourish it. Without the vitality and demonic energy, the body would lose its own flesh and blood essence and would not grow at all. However, Lu Kuan's body cultivation method was completely different. The demonic energy and demonic energy in his body could exist independently of each other. Without the demonic energy and demonic energy in his body, his combat power would not be inferior to any cultivator of the same level. As for the demonic energy in Lu Kuan's bones, when it was added to his bones, it could increase the toughness of his bones and greatly increase his combat power. Without relying on the body, the demonic energy could also be used to cast magic. Lu Kuan also understood why the lizardmen and ape-men in the magical beast garden could not fly. The vitality and demonic energy in their bodies could only be added to their bodies. Although Lu Kuan felt that this cultivation method had many flaws, it also had its advantages. It was very easy to deduce the cultivation level and could be combined with the cultivation level of an immortal cultivator. The chi refining stage was to cultivate the gaseous vitality and demonic energy. When it was transformed into liquid vitality and demonic energy, one would enter the foundation establishment stage. The core formation stage also had a very clear direction, which was to condense the liquid vitality and demonic energy into a demonic energy core. Hong Yuntong had also deduced in this way. He used the cultivation experience of the Black Mountain ape subbody to create a basic body cultivation method suitable for the human race. Not long after the Black Mountain ape entered the pinnacle of the fourth stage, Lu Kuan witnessed Hong Yuntong sacrificing 10 or so immortal cultivators. Using the immortal cultivator's blood essence and spell formations, he cultivated the vitality and demonic energy. This scene reminded Lu Kuan of the scene when he first comprehended the demonic energy of muscles. The two seemed to be somewhat similar. Hong Yuntong used the immortal cultivator's blood essence, and Lu Kuan coincidentally absorbed the Vajra mantra's blood essence that old Devil Murong had stored for many years. Hong Yuntong used the Black Mountain ape subbody to create the vitality and demonic energy. Lu Kuan used the long-arm giant ape's magical ability to cultivate the demonic energy of muscles. After Hong Yuntong successfully cultivated the vitality and demonic energy, the entire upper echelon of the Yi Yuan school was shaken. Many elders studied it and felt that this cultivation method had great potential. It seemed that it could be deduced to the nascent soul stage. Therefore, the Yi Yuan school passed this cultivation method to all the disciples of the phantom womb technique to cultivate. In order to commend Hong Yuntong, the Yi Yuan school not only gave him the privilege of an elder, but also named this cultivation method after him. Cloud Body Cultivation Method. But Lu Kuan, who possessed the Black Mountain ape, could see that Hong Yuntong was not happy. On the contrary, he was even more distressed. He remembered that when Hong Yuntong refined the Black Mountain ape subbody, his cultivation level was at the peak of the foundation establishment stage. Now that he had cultivated the vitality and demonic energy, although his spirit sense was still there, his demonic energy had to be recultivated. Chapter 773. How could this be? Hong Yuntong sat cross-legged in his cave, looking at his own body in shock. The Black Mountain ape stood beside him, its lifeless eyes reflecting the figure of this cultivator. Hong Yuntong's body was completely different from before. His upper body was naked, and the once sturdy muscles had disappeared. His entire body had become extremely thin. The ribs on his chest were clearly visible, and the skin on his arms was also sticking close to his bones. He was all skin and bones. His complexion had also become extremely pale, without a trace of blood, like a starving refugee. Why would my body become like this when my blood and demonic energy turns into liquid? Those demon beasts and demons with powerful bodies have incomparably robust bodies, but now I don't even look like an ordinary mortal. Hong Yintong forced himself to calm down and fell into deep thought. It was now the 5th year since he had cultivated his blood and demonic energy. After entering the profound, cloudy body refinement method, he immersed himself in cultivation and, at the same time, searched for ways to improve his cultivation. In the end, he discovered that the herbs that nourished his blood and qi were of great help to the profound, cloudy body refinement method. Although in Lu Kuan's view, these herbs were only used to replenish his blood and qi and did little to improve the body, for the profound, cloudy body refinement method, these herbs greatly accelerated the cultivation of his blood and demonic energy. Therefore, Hong Yintong entered the foundation establishment stage of the profound, cloudy body refinement method in a short 5 years. Hong Yintong touched his thin face and looked at the Black Mountain ape's similarly thin body. His eyes suddenly lit up, and he quickly stimulated the demonic energy in his body. Under the surging of his blood and demonic energy, Hong Yintong's body rapidly expanded at a speed visible to the naked eye. In a breath's time, he returned to his original robust body, and his body exuded a powerful aura. With a bang, Hong Yintong's fist landed on the ground, causing rocks to fly everywhere. A large hole appeared in the ground, but Hong Yintong's fist was completely unscathed under the protection of the blood-red spirit light. Haha, the body is only on the surface. My body has indeed improved. The profound, cloudy body refinement method is indeed correct. Hong Yintong laughed heartily as he felt the surging power brought about by the circulation of qi and blood. I understand now. Qi and blood magic has a certain degree of inertia. It can't be used to cast spells, and if it's not used, it's almost hidden in my body. It condenses the essence of my body, so it naturally makes my body appear very thin and weak. Lu Kuan was astonished when he saw this through the eyes of the Black Mountain ape. According to his estimation, the strength of Hong Yintong's attack was close to 20,000 kilograms. It was similar to the brute force of his disciples in the bone-tempering stage. It's a pity that this power is brought about by blood and demonic energy, not the power of the physical body itself. Hong Yintong naturally didn't know about Lu Kuan's lamentation. After laughing for a while, he calmed down. Then, he seemed to have thought of something. He sighed and said, "What's the use of succeeding in the foundation establishment stage? I'm almost 200 years old now. I only have about 10 years left. I've cultivated the profound, cloudy body refinement method to the foundation establishment stage. The sect will definitely pay more attention to it. I'm afraid they'll specially find a group of disciples to cultivate it. There will be more people to test this method. Who knows if others can cultivate it to the core formation stage, or even derive a method to the nascent soul stage. By that time, I'll already be a pile of dirt." Hong Yintong's eyes flashed with unwillingness. Brother has entered the core formation stage. His path has a chance of success. I can't die like this. Hong Yintong's face became somewhat ferocious. He stood up and paced back and forth. The qi and demonic energy has entered the liquid state. The next step is to spend time cultivating the demonic energy body to reach the peak of the foundation establishment stage, and then form the core. A mere 10 years of life is simply not enough. Even my child body hasn't condensed the qi and demonic energy core yet. Hong Yintong turned his head and looked at the Black Mountain ape beside him. His eyes glowed red. If I want to enter the core formation stage, I only have one choice. Hong Yintong didn't tell anyone that he had entered the foundation establishment stage. He only activated the demonic energy of the great consummation of the qi refinement stage and let it circulate in his body. This way, he could maintain the normal state of his body. Similarly, others could only see that his demonic energy of the great consummation of the qi refinement stage. The ability to conceal the qi and demonic energy of the qi and demonic energy was a remarkable ability of the Cloudway bodily refinement technique after entering the foundation establishment stage. Even his unfathomable ancestor didn't notice his breakthrough in cultivation. On this day, Hong Yintong used the excuse of trying to break through to the foundation establishment stage to obtain a token from his ancestor. Then, he brought the Black Mountain ape into a heavily guarded underground cavern that was full of restrictions. There was no one in the underground cavern. It was only about 100 feet in size and was filled with extremely dense demonic energy. There was only a faint silver shield covering the ground in the center. Through the shield, one could barely see a pool of water that was emitting thick purplish-black fog. Lu Kuan saw the shield through the eyes of the black mountain ape. At first glance, he knew that it was the true demonic pool. He had seen the true demonic pool more than once. Back in the Dead Sea Devil Cave, he even soaked in the true demonic pool. Naturally, he could recognize it at a glance. Hong Yintong felt the dense demonic energy in the cavern and revealed a satisfied expression. This environment is filled with pure demonic energy. It's the best place for demonic energy core formation. My child body is only one step away from the core formation stage. Hong Yintong's eyes flashed with desire. He looked at the black mountain ape beside him, as if he was looking at an elixir that could increase his cultivation. Lu Kuan felt a chill run down his spine. The greatest effect of the demonic child-mother technique is in breaking through to the next stage. The mother body swallowing the child body can greatly reduce the bottleneck of breaking through. Although my chi and demonic energy as the mother body are very weak, the power of my divine sense has already reached the early core formation stage after cultivating the demonic child-mother technique for more than 80 years. Only by taking the risk of swallowing the child body's cultivation will I have a high chance of entering the core formation stage. Hong Yintong gritted his teeth and growled. He controlled the black mountain ape to sit cross-legged in front of him. He took out a pile of materials and began to arrange a formation. Lu Kuan, who was inside the black mountain ape's body, heard Hong Yintong's muttering and immediately understood. The mother body of the demonic child-mother technique swallows the child body's cultivation to reduce the bottleneck and break through. Hong Yintong wants to use this method to try to condense a demonic energy core. If that's the case, then the child body's fate. Lu Kuan couldn't help but feel the soul of the black mountain ape. He found that it was still the same. It didn't react to anything in the outside world. It was as if its soul had died long ago. After about 2 hours, Hong Yintong finished arranging a mysterious formation under the black mountain ape's body. He then sat cross-legged in front of the black mountain ape. Hong Yintong took a deep breath. His divine sense produced a special wave and activated the formation under his feet. Fortunately, he cultivated the demonic child-mother technique. Otherwise, if he only had chi and demonic energy in his body, he wouldn't be able to cast any basic spells. The magic circle emitted a strange light, which penetrated into the body of the black mountain ape. Lu Kuan felt that the blood and chi in the ape's body trembled and unconsciously flowed into the magic circle under his feet and then entered Hong Yintong's body through the magic circle. Chapter 774. The illusion formed by the bloodline memories was very realistic. It was as if he had possessed the black mountain ape's body. This allowed Lu Kuan to clearly sense the changes in his blood essence and demonic energy. With the black mountain ape's senses, he could even clearly sense the dense and pure demonic energy around him. The demonic energy here was even purer than the Dead Sea Devil Cave. Clearly, there was more true demon pool water stored here. In Lu Kuan's senses, some of the surrounding pure demonic energy and the black mountain ape's blood essence and demonic energy were flowing into Hong Yintong's body. The black mountain ape's huge body gradually dimmed as its blood essence and demonic energy were drained away. Meanwhile, Hong Yintong's body gradually glowed with a strange luster after receiving the liquid demonic energy from the black mountain ape's body. He didn't need to deliberately channel demonic energy, and his thin body also became full. The blood essence and demonic energy of these two can be used together. When Lu Kuan saw this scene, he was very surprised by Hong Yintong's phantasmal mother-child technique. I've thoroughly studied the cloud body refining mantra. The essence of the human body is completely different from that of the black mountain ape. The blood essence and demonic energy that they cultivate are definitely different. After Hong Yintong received the blood essence and demonic energy of the black mountain ape, he didn't turn into an ape. Instead, he nourished the body of a human. This child-mother art is truly amazing. While Hong Yuntong channeled the art and absorbed the demonic energy from the Black Mountain Ape's body, Lu Kuan could only silently feel his body gradually withering due to the loss of blood essence and demonic energy. The weakening of every muscle, every inch of bone, and every piece of internal organ in his body caused excruciating pain that invaded Lu Kuan's nerves. Unfortunately, the Black Mountain Ape's soul in the depths of his body was still like a piece of wood in the face of such continuous pain. This made Lu Kuan feel both uncomfortable and helpless. The current changes in his body were just as he had predicted. As long as the blood essence and demonic energy left his body would gradually wither away like a plant that had lost water. Meanwhile, Lu Kuan had also gained some understanding of the strange phenomenon of the ape men in the magical beast garden. Those ape-man corpses, because of the disappearance of the blood-chi demonic core, caused their bodies to wither, so in such a short period of time, they began to rot. Thinking of this, Lu Kuan was suddenly shocked. Oh no, if the Black Mountain Ape's blood, chi, and demonic chi are all sucked dry, won't its body die right away? However, this was an illusion formed by the memories of its bloodline. Lu Kuan could not do anything to interfere. He could only watch as the Black Mountain Ape's body withered and feel the pain of its essence being sucked out of its body. Hong Yuntong, on the other hand, seemed to have a plan. Every time he absorbed a part of the Black Mountain Ape's blood and mana, he would close his eyes and refine it. He treated the Black Mountain Ape as a mana elixir, absorbing its essence and mana. Just like that, an entire year passed. Hong Yuntong had already grown to a height of 8 feet, and his body was incomparably sturdy. The dimensions of his muscles were even larger than Lu Kuan's original body. Thick blue veins wrapped around the bulging lines of his muscles, making him look both malevolent and deformed. The Black Mountain Ape opposite him was the exact opposite. The ape's body had become extremely thin. Due to the lack of essence in its body, all of its black hair had fallen off. It had become a bald ape that was all skin and bones. The only large part of its body was the pair of huge palms that were wrapped in a layer of dried skin. Although it looked so miserable on the outside, the inside of its body was even worse. Lu Kuan could clearly sense that the Black Mountain Ape's internal organs had become thin sheets, and there was almost no physiological function. Its bones seemed to have become fragile branches that would break with a light step. The blood chi and mana in its body had almost disappeared. The only thing that remained in its body was part of the Black Mountain Ape's blood. It was still circulating in its blood vessels, bones, and internal organs, barely keeping the Black Mountain Ape's body alive. However, the Black Mountain Ape's soul had become weaker after the destruction of its body over the past year. In the past year, Lu Kuan had also endured the torture of having his essence extracted from his body. Even he, who was constantly being eroded by the pain, felt a little weak, let alone the silent soul of the Black Mountain Ape. If it wasn't for the trace of vitality brought by the blood in its body, its soul would have dissipated immediately. In comparison, apart from the fact that Hong Yuntong's body had become horribly deformed, the mana in his body had become more vigorous. Through the weak senses of the Black Mountain Ape, Lu Kuan could sense that its mana had reached the peak of the foundation establishment stage and was about to form the golden core. As expected, after another month, Hong Yuntong's aura had risen to the extreme. The mana in the surroundings seemed to be attracted by something and madly surged into his body. For a moment, the demon chi in the cave was stirred up inexplicably. Even Lu Kuan was shocked by the enormous amount of pure demon chi that was stirring up fluctuations in this narrow cave. The cloudy body refining technique's golden core is so powerful. It's really extraordinary. Lu Kuan sighed in his heart. However, when he thought of the Black Mountain Ape's soul, he felt a burst of anxiety. Hey, something's wrong. This demon chi feels. Lu Kuan's heart skipped a beat. There was a familiar aura in the surrounding demonic chi that made him feel a little fearful. At this time, Hong Yuntong suddenly roared in pain. It seemed that there was a problem with his cultivation technique. His painful roar was mixed with fear and a trace of madness. I know, it's the true demon intent. The true demon intent in the true demon pool is attracted by the condensing power of the demon core. Even the silver shield of the Yuan school can't isolate it. When Lu Kuan heard Hong Yuntong's roar, he immediately recalled the berserk aura of the true devil intent. If he had not possessed the spirit concealment spiritual technique, then the true devil intent would have already confused his nature, causing his mind to be in chaos. Hong Yuntong's roar became more and more miserable. However, he sat cross-legged and did not move. He tried his best to open his red eyes and stare at the thin black mountain ape in front of him. His hands were barely able to form a seal. Then, Lu Kuan felt a lot of true demon intent passing through the magic array below and into the body of the black mountain ape. Even though Lu Kuan knew that he was in the bloodline memory, he still felt incomparably frightened. Hong Yuntong was worthy of being called a top genius. In such a critical moment, he was still able to activate the magical ability of the double phantom technique and pour the true demon intent into the body of the black mountain ape to ensure that he didn't lose his mind. As the true demon intent left the body, the red light in Hong Yuntong's eyes gradually dissipated. After he found that this method worked, he gritted his teeth and continued to condense the golden core. Chapter 775. Lu Kuan was in the illusion of his bloodline memories. He could clearly feel the madness of the true devil will, and he would not lose his mind. He had never experienced such an experience before. When he faced the true demon intent before, he had to use his consciousness concealment technique. He could only sense the aura of the true demon intent from afar, unlike now, where he was being baptized by the true demon intent. As for the clear-headed Lu Kuan, he was able to sense the uniqueness of the true demon intent. That will that made people go crazy didn't seem to be a kind of will, but an extremely pure energy. The craze will was just its appearance. According to the Black Fiend Demon King, demons need to soak in the true demon pool in order to enter the soul formation stage. Could the true demon intent be the key? Just as Lu Kuan's imagination was running wild, the soul of the Black Mountain ape suddenly began to fluctuate under the infusion of a large amount of true demon intent. Crap, this silly monkey can't block out the true demon intent. Just as Lu Kuan expected this, the soul of the Black Mountain ape suddenly roared within its body. It was like a clap of thunder on a sunny day, and its voice was filled with tyrannical intent. However, this roar appeared within the soul, and Hong Yuntong, who was focused on condensing his golden core, did not notice it. Immediately afterward, Lu Kuan discovered that the roar of the Black Mountain ape's soul and the infusion of the true demon intent caused the blood in its body to begin to flow faster. The true demon intent that was transmitted by Hong Yuntong was not only absorbed by the soul of the Black Mountain ape, but also fused into its blood. As the true demon intent increased, the blood of the Black Mountain ape suddenly began to fluctuate inexplicably, and a strange suction force began to emanate from within. Then, Lu Kuan sensed an extremely dense, almost crystallized demonic chi and blood surging out from the spell formation below and into the body of the Black Mountain ape. Hong Yuntong seemed to have noticed this, and he let out a cry of disbelief. No, impossible. His divine sense was in a trance, and he could not control the chi, blood, and devil power in his body. The divine ability of the phantom devil mother-child art went out of control in an instant, and without any guidance, the true devil intent crashed into Hong Yuntong's divine sense, causing his divine sense to be in a mess. At the same time, the suction force within the Black Mountain ape's body grew even more ferocious. The crystallized blood essence and demonic energy within Hong Yuntong's body rapidly flowed towards the Black Mountain ape through the formation below. Hong Yuntong's sturdy and deformed body shriveled at a speed visible to the naked eye, while the Black Mountain ape's body expanded rapidly. After the Black Mountain ape's body was infused with the magic energy of the crystallized blood essence, its thin internal organs were filled up. Its bones turned from fragile drywood into sturdy rocks. The muscles on the surface of its bones also bulged like steel bars. That's not right. The changes to my physical body are somewhat different. Lu Kuan discovered that the Black Mountain ape's bones, the size of its internal organs, and the proportion of its muscles were somewhat similar to that of human beings. Even the black hair that grew out of its body had become sparser. He quickly understood the key point. The crystallized blood essence and demonic energy contain the essence of Han Yuntong's human body. The Black Mountain Ape doesn't know the Phantom Mother-Child technique, so it naturally can't perfectly refine the blood essence and demonic energy. It can only passively absorb it. As the Black Mountain Ape's body shape and appearance changed, it became more and more similar to that of the ape-man leader. In just half a day, Han Yuntong had turned into a bag of bones. Only a thin layer of skin was attached to his ribs. His chest cavity looked empty. It seemed that his internal organs had also disappeared. The blood vessels in his body had disappeared. There wasn't a trace of blood in his body. His head had turned into a skull, and his life force had disappeared. As all the blood essence and demonic energy entered the Black Mountain Ape's body, the demonic energy in the surroundings began to fluctuate violently again. It quickly rushed into the ape-man's body, and a blood-red golden core gradually formed inside its body. Under the surging demonic energy, Han Yuntong's skeletal body turned into a pile of ashes and completely dissipated. "You damned monkey! How dare you destroy my body?" At the same time, Han Yuntong's resentful voice sounded inside the Black Mountain Ape's body. "Fortunately, I have the Phantom Mother-Child technique to keep my soul alive. Since you've condensed your blood essence and golden core, I'll take this body. I must enter the core formation stage." Then, Han Yuntong's soul rushed toward the Black Mountain Ape's soul. At this moment, the Black Mountain Ape's soul was no longer silent. It let out an extremely angry roar from its body. The roar was filled with hatred, pain, and madness. The newly condensed golden core in the Black Mountain Ape's body suddenly released a powerful blood essence and demonic energy. The blood in its body crazily rushed into its arms. The demonic energy mixed with the blood essence formed a mysterious path in its arms. Lu Kuan sensed the changes in his body. His heart was in turmoil. This mysterious path of blood essence circulation was the same one he had awakened before. It was the method he used to activate the omni-arm technique. Could it be? The Black Mountain Ape stood up, and its arms rapidly expanded until they were as large as its palms. When the Black Mountain Ape's soul erupted, it coincidentally awakened the omni-arm technique hidden deep in its bloodline. It raised its thick and ferocious arms and clenched its huge fists tightly. It seemed to be releasing the pain that was suppressed deep in its soul. The circulation of the demonic energy in its blood essence did not stop because of the activation of the omni-arm technique. It continued to surge into the Black Mountain Ape's chest. All of the true demonic intent in its body also gathered at its chest. Demonic energy, blood essence, and true demonic intent. The three mixed together to form a mysterious and complicated circulation path. It appeared in Lu Kuan's mind. At this moment, he was like an ape. The initial pain of the omni-arm ape's body being crushed, the helplessness of being refined into blood essence, the sorrowful cry of the Black Mountain Ape witnessing the death of one of its kind, and the torture of the body for nearly 100 years. The pain that had been suppressed in the depths of his soul for countless years erupted as the three types of energy gathered at his chest. Lu Kuan could not help but raise his head. His red eyes were filled with brutality. He stared at the ceiling of the cave, as if he was looking up at the sky through the mountain rocks. Around his Black Mountain Ape's body, a black ape shadow that was more than 10 feet tall appeared. The black ape shadow also raised its arms and looked at the sky angrily. It opened its mouth full of sharp teeth, and the shadow instantly disappeared into the Black Mountain Ape's mouth. A terrifying wave of energy shot out from it. Roar! The entire cave was filled with an extremely furious roar. This roar seemed to be the only sound in the world. The surrounding demonic energy surged under the pressure, and the restrictions on the walls of the cave flashed wildly. Even the true demonic pool in the silver restriction was affected and violently surged. As the roar ended, the Black Mountain Ape's huge body exploded on the spot. It was as if it could not withstand the power of the roar and turned into ashes like Han Yuntong's body. Only a somewhat incomplete blood-red golden core was left on the spot. As for Lu Kuan's consciousness, the moment his body exploded, he also fell into darkness. However, before he lost consciousness and let out a heaven-shaking roar, a clear message came from his bloodline. Chapter 776. Squeak, 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 squeak. Lu Kuan's consciousness, which had been immersed in darkness, seemed to have been awakened by a ray of light and returned to his body. Feeling the familiar body, Lu Kuan slowly opened his eyes and saw Xiao Jin in front of him. The moment he woke up, he immediately felt that the blood and qi in his body were incomparably vigorous, and the aura of the Tongbi bloodline in his blood essence was about 50% stronger than before. Lu Kuan stretched his limbs and asked, "Xiao Jin, how long has it been?" The little monkey stretched out 3 fingers and gestured. Lu Kuan was stunned and then sighed. 3 days and 3 nights. 100 years of memories passed in a flash. I didn't expect that in ancient times, the bloodline of the Tongbi bloodline had already been cut off. The first seriously injured monkey was the last Tongbi bloodline. Lu Kuan touched his arm and thought in his heart. At that time, the people of the Yuan school felt that the bloodline of the long-armed giant ape would be of great help to their research on the devil race's body refining method. Therefore, they refined the young long-armed giant ape into pure blood essence and tried to create a body refining method with the help of the long-armed giant ape's bloodline. Lu Kuan shook his head and sighed. It's a pity that Hong Yuntong, a genius who cultivated the phantom demon mother-child formula to the peak of foundation establishment at the age of 100, failed in the end. The environment with the devil's pool is of great help to the formation of a core. I didn't expect that it would draw out the true demon intent, which led to Hong Yuntong's failure. Lu Kuan's eyes revealed a look of pity. Even if he really entered the core formation stage with the help of the Tongbi body refining method, this parasitic body refining method is full of flaws. Cultivating the Tongbi body refining method, the real benefit is not the body, but the blood essence and devil's qi. After experiencing Hong Yuntong's core formation process, Lu Kuan completely saw through the essence of this body refining method. The blood essence and devil's qi were like parasites, parasitic on the body, giving the body a taste of sweetness and absorbing the essence of the body's growth. Hong Yuntong and the Black Mountain Ape's bodies were reduced to dust in the end, but the newly condensed demonic core remained. The result of the symbiotic relationship between the physical body and the qi blood devil energy was that the physical body was destroyed while the qi blood devil energy survived in the form of a devil pill. The little monkey listened to Lu Kuan's mutterings with a gloomy expression. Woo-woo, Lu Kuan heard the little monkey's voice and stroked its little head. He sighed and said, "Yes, the fate of that Black Mountain Ape was too tragic. Fortunately, Hong Yuntong's soul was destroyed in the end, so it could be considered as revenge." Just as he finished speaking, Lu Kuan's expression became very strange. He looked at Xiao Jin in a daze. "You little fellow, how do you know the scene in the bloodline memory?" The little monkey gestured with its 2 paws. Squeak, squeak. Lu Kuan heard the little monkey's words and muttered, "You said that when I fell into the bloodline memory illusion, those scenes appeared in your mind too." The little monkey nodded. Lu Kuan pondered for a while and said, "You can receive the bloodline memory probably because our bloodlines are connected, and we both have the same bloodline of the demonic ape imperial family. All right, did you get the elemental body tempering mantra and the method to use the heaven-piercing roar?" The little monkey shook its head in confusion. "It's good that you didn't get it. The elemental body tempering mantra has too many flaws. As for the method to use the heaven-piercing roar, I only need to use it once in the future, and you can learn it with your spirit ears." Squeak, squeak. The little monkey shook its ears in satisfaction. Then, Lu Kuan looked behind Xiao Jin. There were only some ashes and fur left on the ground. The body of the 8-man leader had disappeared. He sighed and said, "In the bloodline memory, other than the inheritance of the heaven-piercing roar, it also carried the pain of the Black Mountain Ape. If I'm not wrong, its soul didn't perish together with Hong Yuntong in the end. Instead, with the help of the bloodline power, it was deposited in the blood essence demonic core along with the true demonic intent." Lu Kuan exhaled a mouthful of turbid air and blew away the residue on the ground. This blood essence demonic core is a malignant tumor, a greedy parasite. It only strengthens the body on the surface, but it's a completely evil path. Therefore, at the last moment of the bloodline memory, The body of the Black Mountain ape that had just formed the blood essence demonic core couldn't withstand the power of the heaven-piercing roar and directly collapsed. This ape-man leader, at level 7, didn't seem to be able to unleash the full power of the heaven-piercing roar. Thinking of the heaven-piercing roar, Lu Kuan fell into memory again. In the Battle of the Dead Sea Devil Cave, I was soaked in the true demonic pool water and accidentally transformed into a demonic ape. The terrifying sound wave attack I used should be the heaven-piercing roar. At that time, I was the same as the Black Mountain ape in the bloodline memory. I was stimulated by the true demonic intent and awakened the bloodline power. I unconsciously used the heaven-piercing roar. Unfortunately, my consciousness was in a coma at that time, and I didn't know how to use the heaven-piercing roar. I didn't expect to obtain the method of using the heaven-piercing roar from the bloodline memory in the Yuan secret realm. This ability not only contains the circulation route of demonic power and blood essence, but also has to do with the true demonic intent. Previously, the Black Fiend Demon King also mentioned the long-armed demon ape. Looks like I need to find time to have a good chat with him about the long-armed demon ape. He couldn't help but look at the Yuan jade pendant lying quietly in the cartilage of his ribs. Squeak, squeak. While he was thinking, Xiao Jin suddenly spoke with a puzzled face. You said that the Black Mountain ape had already fallen. Why did the current ape-man leader appear? Squeak, squeak. Lu Kuan sighed and said, I have some guesses about the reason. The key is the blood essence demonic core. Looking at the little monkey's puzzled eyes, he continued, in the bloodline memory, the Black Mountain ape's physical essence and demonic power were sucked dry by Hong Yintong. If it wasn't for the existence of the bloodline power, its physical body would have dissipated long ago. Later, under the mutation of the true demonic intent and the long-armed demon ape's bloodline, Hong Yintong's blood essence and demonic power were sucked into the Black Mountain ape's body. The blood essence and demonic power immediately replenished its withered physical body. If a withered physical body can be nourished, then other demonic apes with similar physical structures can be nourished even more easily by the blood essence and demonic power. According to my guess, demonic apes with a certain level of physical foundation can completely absorb the blood essence and become the new host of the blood essence demonic core. Lu Kuan turned to look outside of Gao Shulin and said slowly, the other ape men must have inherited the demonic elixir of qi and blood, which is why they have such physical cultivation. They're the hosts of the blood essence demonic core. It can be said that the ape men who defeated the devil cultivators of the Yin-Yang cult were not the ape men, but the parasite-like blood essence demonic core. The consciousness of the ape men was also confused because of the true demonic intent contained in the blood essence demonic core. Squeak. Lu Kuan stroked the little monkey's head and said with a sigh, and the pure blood essence in our body indirectly awakened the long-armed demon ape's bloodline hidden in the blood essence demonic core. The bloodline power resisted the limited true demonic intent and allowed these ape men to recover their bloodline memory. They recalled the things that the Yuan school disciples had done to them. The pain that had been suppressed in the depths of their souls for countless years could only be released by committing suicide. Lu Kuan's eyes were very sad. If I'm not wrong, the blood essence demonic core inside the ape-man leader's body is the last demonic core that Hong Yintong and the Black Mountain ape nurture together. And the other ape-man's demonic core should be the result of the cultivation of the metatone body tempering technique disciples. Lu Kuan raised his head and looked at the dense forest around him. He had a vague guess in his heart. The Yuan school must have discovered the flaw of the blood essence demonic core and gave up on the metatone body tempering technique. But they didn't want to waste the fruits of their labor. It's very likely that the Devil Beast Garden is the place where they reared the blood essence demonic core. Those devil beasts are just the hosts. The lizard men from before must be the byproduct of the blood essence demonic core. Lu Kuan thought of the scene of the Black Mountain ape turning into an ape-man and felt a chill run down his spine. The ape-men were transformed from the Black Mountain ape by absorbing the blood essence demonic energy of human cultivators. The bodies of the two were abnormally combined through the blood essence demonic energy. Then, the lizard men that appeared before, When the little monkey heard Lu Kuan's words, its small face turned pale and shuddered. Lu Kuan clenched his fists and his eyes flashed with an inexplicable look. This abnormal body tempering technique shouldn't exist in this world. Its value should be reflected in another way. Chapter 777. Inside a tree hole on the other side of the demonic beast garden, two pairs of men and women sat cross-legged. Demonic energy surged from their bodies. They were all in the late-stage core formation stage. In addition to these four people, there was also a beautiful woman with a curvy figure at the entrance of the tree hole. She wore a purple-black dress and held a few blood-red demonic pills in her hand. She was deep in thought. This woman was none other than Su Junwen, who had used the yin-yang phantasm demonic art to transform into a woman. The other four people in the tree hole were the other demonic cultivators of the yin-yang sect. It had been 5 days since their battle with the apes. In these few days, not only did they recover their demonic energy, but they also used healing pills to heal their bodies that were injured by the ape's roar. Su Junwen stood there leisurely. Her slender fingers flipped a few demonic pills. She frowned. The demonic beasts here are really strange. It's fine if they're low-level demonic beasts, but all of the demonic pills above the 5th level are filled with blood essence. After the demonic pills leave their bodies will rot in a short period of time. They have no value as refining materials. The only thing that can remain are these demonic pills. Su Junwen's eyes flashed with annoyance. If I'm not wrong, these demonic pills also contain true demonic intent. Together with the chaotic blood essence and demonic energy, they have no value at all. The battle just now was really a double loss. After staring at the demonic pills for a long time, Su Junwen took out a few jade bottles and put the pills into her storage bag. Although she felt that these demonic pills had no value, some of the elders in the sect might not feel the same way. Also, these demonic pills could be reported back. At least those nascent soul-old monsters would know what kind of demonic beasts killed their disciples. While she was thinking, the 4 disciples behind her attracted their demonic energy and exuded a vigorous aura. Clearly, they had recovered from their previous injuries. Su Junwen glanced at them and said, "I've already checked. Not far to the southeast is the other exit of the demonic beast garden. The light barrier there can only be activated by the Yuan Jade pendant. I've already cleaned up the demonic beasts nearby. Let's leave this place as soon as possible. If those 8-man magic beasts come again, I don't have the confidence to protect you." After saying this, Su Junwen turned into a streak of white light and flew towards the southeast. The 4 demonic cultivators of the yin-yang sect who were still in the tree hole paled when they heard the word 8-man. They immediately flew into the air. They followed Su Junwen and flew for several miles. Sure enough, they saw a faint silver screen of light. It seemed to be very different from the restriction that had entered the demonic beast garden. Activate the Yuan Jade pendant together, Su Junwen ordered. Then, the group passed through the light screen amidst beams of white light and appeared in a bush filled with black shrubs. Su Junwen floated in midair and let out a sigh of relief. After she came out, she realized that the suppression on her spiritual sense had disappeared. Therefore, her spiritual sense, which was at the peak of the completion level, came out of her body and searched around. As for the other 4 demonic cultivators, they carefully observed their surroundings. Their previous encounter in the magical beast garden had caused them to be filled with vigilance towards this strange valley. The terrifying roars of the ape-men, their ferocious arms, and their frightening brute strength would probably linger in their memories forever. The aura of the light screen behind us seems to be unable to return through the jade pendant. One of the tall female cultivators immediately discovered the change in the light screen behind them. The others checked and discovered that this was indeed the case. However, they weren't too worried. They didn't want to return to that extremely dangerous demonic beast garden that they hadn't obtained anything from yet. At the same time, Su Junwen's expression changed slightly, as if she had discovered something. She muttered to herself, "The other 2 sects are 15 miles away. That seems to be a cultivator's building. They aren't fighting with each other. It seems like they're waiting for something. The tall female cultivator who spoke before said hesitantly, then, Senior Sister Sue, should we go over? After all, there are only 5 of us. Our strength. The other 3 also looked at Senior Sister Sue, who had suddenly transformed into a woman. Without 2 late core formation stage demonic cultivators, their strength had greatly decreased. The power of their defensive techniques had weakened by more than a level. Su Junwen sneered, with my current strength, even if I face a nascent soul stage old monster, I can contend with him for a bit. Besides, with the blood-refining sect here, the 7 Fiends sect will naturally join forces with us. Only then did the others remember that after Senior Sister Sue transformed, she was a peak nascent soul stage expert. Furthermore, the Yin-Yang sect and the 7 Fiends sect had formed an alliance. When the 2 sects encountered the blood-refining sect in the secret realm, they had to join forces. Furthermore, I also detected that the 7 Fiends sect cultivators are all at the late core formation stage. If we join forces with them, we won't have to fear the blood-refining sect. After Su Junwen finished speaking, he didn't wait for the others to reply. He directly shot out a white demonic light that enveloped everyone and turned them into a white ball of light. Then, with a tremble, it shot into the distance. When the 4 demonic cultivators felt the power contained in the ball of light that made them tremble, they couldn't help but feel a strong sense of security. These 2 pairs of demonic cultivators weren't weak. In the outside world, they were famous figures. However, not long ago, they were beaten up by the strange 8-man demonic beast. Now that they were facing the top core formation stage experts of the blood-refining sect, they naturally felt some fear. After calming down, they released their spiritual sense and probed into the distance. Soon, they found the place Su Junwen mentioned. It was a hazy building complex that stood in the middle of black shrubs. At the front was a flight of stairs that was about 300 feet high. Spiritual light flickered nearby, as if there was a restriction. After the flight of stairs, there was a large square that was 100 feet wide. The ground was made of milky white jade and looked extremely luxurious. The back of the square was filled with a familiar silver light curtain. Behind it was a vague building that didn't look like a cultivator's cave residence. Instead, it looked more like a sect's mountain gate. In the square of the mountain gate, there were 2 groups of people sitting on either side. Because the other side had set up a defensive formation, they could only barely see the number of people inside. It was easy to distinguish that the 10 people on the left were from the blood-refining sect, and the 7 on the right were from the 7 Fiends sect. A distance of 15 kilometers was very short for core formation cultivators. Not to mention, Su Junwen was using an escape technique. They quickly landed outside the square stairs. Su Junwen felt the restrictive force around the stairs and raised his eyebrows. He took the lead and cast a few buff spells to lead the others up the stairs. Sitting in front of the demonic cultivators of the blood-refining sect was a skinny old man. His body exuded an unfathomable demonic aura. It was Ma Jie, the veteran blood devil. He released his spiritual sense, and a surprised expression appeared on his face. He asked curiously, Fei Mo, you know the Yin-Yang sect better. Have you seen the leader of the female cultivators? Fei Mo narrowed his eyes, and the fat on his face scrunched up. After a while, he shook his head and said, Senior Marshal Brother Ma, I have never seen this woman before. She didn't seem to be in the Yin-Yang sex group. Could it be that this pseudo-nascent soul cultivator was hiding in the group, and we didn't notice her? Ma Jie frowned and said, This woman is not simple. I can feel a faint threat from her. This means she has the combat power of a pseudo-nascent soul cultivator. Also, the Yin-Yang sect clearly encountered something. Otherwise, there wouldn't be only 5 people left. Everyone's expression changed when they heard Ma Jie's words. This woman was definitely not simple to be able to make the blood devil, who possessed the demonic seed, orb, feel threatened. It was very likely that she was the Yin-Yang sect's trump card. Ma Jie saw everyone's expression and said, Even if the Yin-Yang sect has this woman, it's useless. With our strength, even if we fight the 2 sects head-on, we still have a big advantage. I'm more curious about what happened to them. The other members of the blood refining sect looked at Ma Jie and the woman beside him and calmed down. On the other hand, the seven fiends didn't look too good. The yin-yang sect had lost 3 late-stage core formation demonic cultivators. This meant that the overall strength of the two sects had decreased significantly. Moreover, they had all revealed their late-stage core formation cultivation. The blood refining sect would definitely put more effort into dealing with the weakened yin-yang sect. Chapter 778. Seeing Su Junwen and the others enter the square, the fat on Fei Mo's face shook as he squinted his eyes and said, "May I know your name?" "I, Fei Mo, have dealt with the yin-yang sect many times before, but I don't seem to have any impression of you." Su Junwen looked at the curious Fei Mo and said coldly, "I was wondering who you were." "So it's Fei Mo. You're just lucky enough to survive the yin-yang devil art. What kind of dealings are you having?" The 4 demonic cultivators behind her chuckled, as if they all knew about this. The 7 fiends also whispered among themselves, ignoring Fei Mo's existence. "I've long heard that Fei Mo was bewitched by the yin-yang sects, which when he was at Foundation Establishment. I didn't think it was true." "Hee, you don't know, right? Fei Mo was one of the Foundation Establishment blood devils back then. It was because of the blood devil art that he was able to prevent himself from being sucked dry. Tsk, he was able to survive after doing it with a witch of the yin-yang sect. This Fei Mo is quite lucky." "Really? I've also heard that the fat devil's blood devil technique went berserk because of the yin devil technique. That's why he became so fat. Fei Mo can be considered a blessing in disguise. Although he lost his identity as the blood demon, after he switched to another cultivation method, because of the foundation of the blood demon technique, the power of his cultivation method increased several times. His strength surpassed cultivators of the same level, and he easily entered the core formation stage." Hearing the 7 evil spirits nagging, Fat Devil's round face turned red. He glared at the 7 evil spirits with his small eyes, then said to Su Junwen through gritted teeth, "Little girl, I didn't lose out. Not only did I kill that slut after reaching core formation, I even took some of her yin-yang devil art cultivation notes. Your yin-yang sect suffered a great loss. From then on, I became a thorn in your side. Just in case, I investigated you core formation cultivators." As Fat Demon spoke, a bright light flashed in his eyes as he looked at Su Junwen with a look of surprise. You look a bit like Lady Su. Are you Lady Su? Have you been hiding your cultivation before?" Su Junwen's expression didn't change, but she was a bit angry inside. She didn't expect Fei Mo to know so much about the core formation cultivators of the yin-yang sect. He even remembered the Su couple. She had almost guessed the truth. Then Su Junwen's mind and smiled. "That's right, I'm Lady Su's." When she admitted it, many people from the 7 Fiends sect and the Blood Refinement sect came to a realization. Clearly, they believed that Lady Su was the hidden hand of the yin-yang sect, but they were also confused. What happened to the yin-yang sect that caused Madame Su to reveal her peak core formation cultivation? How did her Tao partner and the 2 fiendish cultivators disappear? Su Junwen ignored everyone's expressions and looked at the silver restriction behind the square. She said, "You 2 sects have gathered here. It seems you've been waiting for us. Could it be that the restriction in front of us requires 1 more jade pendant to open?" Hearing Su Junwen's words, Master Hun Sha of the 7 Fiends sect chuckled. "Lady Su is very smart. You guessed it right away. We arrived at this square not long after we entered and found that the restriction here is the same as the one outside the valley. It requires 20 jade pendants to open. But we didn't expect the fellow Taoists of the yin-yang sect to take 6 days to arrive. Also, the number of people has changed. Did Lady Su encounter some powerful enemies?" Su Junwen sighed. "My husband and his 2 fellow sect members were separated from us when they entered the valley. We don't know where they were teleported to. The 5 of us just escaped from a restriction and found this square." Then, she changed the topic and said, "Hun Sha, this place should be the same as the outside world. We only need 20 single origin jade pendants, right? With the 5 of us, it's more than enough. Who knows? My husband and the other two fellow disciples might be behind this restriction. Hunsha's eyes flashed with doubt. Although he didn't believe Su Junwen's words, he didn't want to ask. At this moment, Ma Jie suddenly stood up and said, "Since the Yin sect is here, let's work together to break the restriction." With that, Ma Jie walked to the left side of the silver restriction. The people from the blood sect naturally followed him. Su Junwen and Hunsha looked at each other. Their lips moved slightly as they exchanged a few words. Then, they led the 4 people from the Yin sect and gathered with the 7 fiends. Now that they were facing the blood-refining sect, their 2 sects were naturally on the same side. Soon, everyone tacitly stood in 2 groups. The blood-refining sect was on the left while the other 2 sects were on the right. They were 100 feet apart. Even if the blood-refining sect suddenly attacked, the 7 fiends sect and the other 2 sects would have enough time to react. Just like this, more than 20 people from both sides took out their jade pendants and poured their devil chi into them. White halos appeared outside the restriction on the square. These halos carried an inexplicable fluctuation as they surged towards the silver restriction. The resplendent silver luster gradually dissipated. The light curtain of the restriction also collapsed along with the dissipation of the silver light. Gradually, the scene behind the restriction was revealed. The buildings behind the restriction were still blurry. They were covered in various restrictions. However, several arched doors appeared in front of these buildings. They were engraved with complicated patterns and ancient characters. Su Junwen seemed to have discovered something. Her beautiful face revealed an extremely excited expression. Her face flushed red. She quickly shot out a white demonic light from her hand and enveloped the 4 demonic cultivators behind her. Then, she shot towards an arched door near her. Her speed was astonishing. It seemed to be able to restrain the space restriction here. The 7 fiends at the side clearly saw the characters on the arched door. Demonic Arts Pavilion. Not far from the arched door of the Demonic Arts Pavilion was another gloomy door. 3 words were engraved on it: Devil Refining Cave. Hunsha's pupil shrank. He quickly sent a voice transmission with his divine sense. Enter the Devil Refining Cave. As soon as his voice fell, the 7 of them merged into one and emitted a strange pressure. They also ignored the space restriction here and shot towards the Devil Refining Cave. 1,000 feet away, the blood refining sect watched as the 2 sects disappeared in the blink of an eye. They looked at the arched doors in front of them with dismay. The arched doors in front of them were all damaged. Chaotic restriction power flashed on them. They appeared to be unpassable, just like the other broken restrictions in the secret realm. Ma Jie's eyes flashed with a thoughtful expression. Through his divine sense, he could sense that only 3 arched doors were undamaged. 2 of them were the Devil Refining Cave and the Demonic Arts Pavilion that the 7 Fiends sect and the Yin sect used to enter. There was also an arched door with the words Devil Cleansing Cave engraved on it. However, a complete restriction power flashed within the arched door of the Devil Cleansing Cave. Although it was undamaged, it appeared to be extremely complicated. It didn't seem like something a core formation cultivator could break through. The Demonic Arts Pavilion sounds like a place to store cultivation methods. It's very likely that there are all kinds of demonic arts stored inside. The Devil Refining Cave is most likely a place to refine the true Devil Pond water. Ma Jie looked at the scene behind the light screen and murmured, "They've made their choice very decisively. The Yin sect lacks a truly top-tier demonic art, while the 7 Fiends sect needs a large amount of pure, true Devil Pond's water to help the 7 Fiends sect reach the nascent soul stage." Ma Jie then clenched his fists and smirked. The blood refining sect will take all the treasures in these 2 places. Ma Jie glanced at everyone and immediately ordered, "Zhan Yu, Rong Jingqi, Fei Mo, Han Qingsheng, Gu Han, the 5 of you go to the Demonic Arts Pavilion. I vaguely sensed a trace of nascent soul power in Madame Su's light. Junior Martial Sister Zhan, you should be able to resist it. Gu Han, the evil spirit you've reared has already reached the late stage core formation stage. The 5 of you are far more powerful than others. Take as many cultivation methods as you can." Yes, Senior Marshal Brother Ma. Zhanyu, a mid-stage core formation sanguine demon, led everyone to the demonic arts pavilion. Ma Jie looked at the remaining people. Other than him, a veteran sanguine demon, the supreme demon was a late-stage core formation cultivator with extremely powerful attacks. The Moonlight Demoness was proficient in illusions. Shinhao cultivated the true demonic lightning manipulation technique and had powerful spells. Finally, Fang Yuan cultivated a powerful cultivation method that was second only to the sanguine demon technique. It could be said that the combined strength of the five of them was stronger. Even if the seven fiends, who were at the late-stage core formation stage, could exert the power of a peak early-stage nascent soul cultivator, Ma Jie was not afraid at all. Let's enter the devil refining cave. If we have the chance, we'll kill one of the seven fiends. Chapter 779. In a short period of time, the pure white square became empty. After the silver restriction was broken by the devil cultivators of the three sects with the first origin jade pendant, it completely dissipated and did not rise again. After a short while, a tall and sturdy bald man gradually appeared in the incomparably quiet square. It was Lu Kuan. After awakening from the bloodline inheritance, he spent some time recovering his magical power and blood power. Then, he followed the people of Yin-Yang cult to this place through the detection of Shaojin. Devil Technique Pavilion, Devil Refining Cave, and Devil Cleansing Cave. Lu Kuan looked at the three undamaged arch doors behind the square and fell into deep thought. Needless to say, the Devil Technique Pavilion is where Yuan School's various devil techniques are stored. Maybe the Phantom Mother-Child Technique and Yuan Tong Body Tempering Technique are also stored there. Lu Kuan shifted his gaze and looked at the other two arches. Devil Refining Cave and Devil Cleansing Cave seem to be places where the water of the true Devil Pond is purified. However, after I entered the second level of the Yuan Secret Realm, I encountered two secret lands with pure true Demon Pond water. One of them should be using the power of lava and a magic array to purify the true demon water. The other place is a sacred object of the dark insects, golden devil tree, and devil-devouring bees to form a purifying array. Since many other places in the secret territory have purifying arrays, this strange and mysterious valley doesn't seem to have any need to purify the water of the true devil pond. Lu Kuan thought of the recent encounter. The outermost devil beast garden is where a Yuan school rears the Qi and blood demon cores. The Qi and blood demon cores are one of the ways to find the body refining method of the devil race. There must be other places to study the body refining method of the devil race here. Lu Kuan's eyes flashed with golden light as he looked at the rightmost arch door. It was the door where the seven evil spirits and the five top devil cultivators of blood refining sect had entered. Devil Refining Cave. Ma Jie frowned slightly as he led the experts of the blood refining sect through a stone passageway that was more than 6 meters wide. In addition to the extremely dense demon qi, there was also a faint putrid smell in the air. After they passed through the arched door of the demon refinement cave, there was only a sloping gray stone tunnel in front of them that led to the unknown depths of the underground. After walking for a while, Lieutenant Colonel Mason raised an eyebrow. Mana surge in his hand, and a small blood-red arrow quickly took shape. He then waved his hand and sent the arrow flying toward the gray stone wall. The small blood-colored arrow, which had the power of a peak core formation cultivator, immediately collapsed upon contact with the gray rock. Not a single mark was left on the gray rock. Everyone's expression changed when they saw this. There were no restrictions on the rock walls here, yet they were able to withstand Mason's blood demon arrow without being damaged. They were clearly made of some kind of top-grade material. Ma Jie raised an eyebrow and said with a strange expression, "It's the dragon-breaking stone." As soon as he spoke, the others also remembered. A pitch-black flying knife appeared in the Supreme Devil's hand. He quickly cut the gray rock twice, but not even a spark appeared. He muttered, "It really is dragon-breaking stone. This material can isolate high temperatures and is extremely hard. It can even withstand the attacks of nascent soul stage cultivators." It is also extremely inert, and no energy can be transmitted through it. Other than being used to trap enemies, it has almost no other use. The expressions of the experienced demonic cultivators turned serious when they heard the supreme devil's words. The fact that so many dragon-breaking stones were used to create a tunnel meant that this place was very likely a giant cage that trapped some unknown existence. The rotten smell of demonic chi in the air also indicated that this place was unusual. Lieutenant Colonel Mason said in a low voice, "Prepare for battle." When the Yin-Yang sect members entered the range of my divine sense, they still had traces of fear on their faces. The 3 members of the Yin-Yang sect who disappeared are very likely dead. Therefore, other than the 7 evil spirits, we also need to be on guard against other dangers. If this place is really a cage, then the creatures trapped here must be very powerful. At this moment, the ordinary-looking woman at the back of the group spoke softly. "Senior Marshal Brother Ma, this valley only appeared in this mystic realm. It can be said that it has been sealed for tens of thousands of years. The cave we're in doesn't have the same environment as the outside world. What kind of creatures can survive for so long?" Lieutenant Colonel Mason's frown deepened when he heard this. He said in a low voice, "Junior Marshal Sister Yuehua, that may be the case, but the fact that this mystic realm has existed for so many years means that it can't be judged by common sense. More importantly, I've been feeling uneasy ever since I entered this place. We need to be careful." The others nodded solemnly when they heard Lieutenant Colonel Mason's words. This veteran blood devil was almost at the peak of the core formation stage. He had been in the core formation stage for so many years that his magic treasures had long matured. In addition, he had the demonic seed bead in his possession. In a short period of time, he was almost as powerful as an early-stage nascent soul cultivator. The sixth sense of such a powerful cultivator was definitely not baseless. At this moment, violent demonic chi fluctuations suddenly came from below the tunnel. The sound of fierce fighting mixed with a large amount of rotten smell wafted over. Who are the 7 evil spirits fighting? It's been tens of thousands of years. There are still living creatures here? This is the perfect opportunity to ambush the 7 evil spirits. The demonic cultivators of the blood-refining sect all had different expressions on their faces. Lieutenant Colonel Mason's eyes flashed. He snorted and said, "Don't be so sure. Maybe the 7 evil spirits set up a trap to lure us over." These cunning bastards were only at the mid-stage core formation stage when they entered the mystic realm. If it weren't for some reason forcing them to advance in advance, we might have been at a disadvantage. Demonic chi surged from his body. He said, "Junior Marshal Brother Fong Yong Yuan, your Earth Aura Glaze Bracelet is good at defense. Come with me. The others stand behind us and act according to the situation." A white-haired old man walked to Lieutenant Colonel Mason's side. A dark yellow bracelet, as thick as a forearm, slowly appeared on his chest. It exuded an extremely heavy aura. As soon as the bracelet appeared, Lieutenant Colonel Mason and Fong Yong Yuan took the lead and walked deeper into the tunnel. It seemed that the Earth Aura Glazed Bracelet had an extremely strong defensive ability. The others also strengthened their shields. As the 5 of them went deeper into the tunnel, the sounds of fighting in the tunnel became clearer and clearer. At the same time, they heard a few low growls. It sounded like some kind of ferocious demonic beast. The 7 evil spirits really did encounter an unknown enemy. Just as this thought appeared in everyone's mind, the tunnel ahead lit up, revealing a huge cave about 200 feet wide. The 7 evil spirits formed a square about 10 feet away from the entrance. Their bodies were covered in a layer of dark, gray demonic light. Outside the demonic light, the heavenly halberd formed by the combination of 5 treasures was swinging rapidly. It exuded the power of a mature magic treasure and continuously bombarded a humanoid creature. This humanoid creature was covered in purplish-black scales. Its eyes were red and lifeless. Strange demonic chi surged around its body. It seemed to have the aura of Yin energy and was accompanied by a rotten stench. Its palms were covered with black nails that exuded a sharp luster. It was these inch-long nails that flashed with afterimages and blocked the heavenly halberd's attacks again and again. In addition to the heavenly halberd formed by the combination of 5 treasures, not far away, the Koei Earth Shield and Water J bracelet were entangling another humanoid creature, trapping it in place. Chapter 780. Everyone's expression changed when they heard Ma Jie say demonic zombie. Old Demon Sidhu, the nascent soul elder of the blood-refining sect, had told them about this on their way to the Yuan secret realm. 300 years ago, the blood-refining sect's team had encountered a zombie at the peak of the bronze armored corpse stage. This zombie was covered in purplish-black scales and looked very much like the demons in the legends. Moreover, its body was filled with the stench of rotting corpses and was mixed with a frigid demonic aura. Therefore, Old Demon Situ called it a demonic zombie. Although the demonic zombie was already severely injured and confused when Old Demon Situ and the others encountered it, its combat strength was still terrifying. That elusive speed, the sharp claws that were at the level of a mature magical treasure, and the purple-black scales that had amazing defensive power had caused the blood-refining clan team to suffer a lot of losses. In the end, Old Demon Situ, as the Blood Devil, had to use his trump card, the demonic seed orb, and cooperate with several other core formation stage experts to kill the demonic zombie. The humanoid creature that appeared in front of Ma Jie and the others and was fighting the 7 evil spirits was very similar to the demonic zombie that Old Demon Situ had described in terms of appearance and combat style. The only difference was that its demonic aura was only at the early-late core formation stage. It was still some distance away from the peak of the 7th grade. Even so, the 7 evil spirit Sky Piercer only had the upper hand against this level of demonic zombie. The demonic zombie's claws were not only as strong as a matured artifact, but also as powerful. Every time the Sky Piercer clashed with the Sky Piercer, the demonic zombie's body only sank slightly. As for the other parts of its body that were covered in purplish-black scales, even if they were accidentally hit by the Sky Piercer's aftershock, they would remain unharmed. The Sky Piercer would probably have to hit the demonic zombie directly to cause any damage. However, the demonic zombie's claws were as fast as the Sky Piercer's. Moreover, as the battle progressed, it seemed to be moving faster and faster. Often, it would be able to parry the Sky Piercer's attacks before they landed. Magia also noticed that the demonic zombie's red eyes were gradually shining with clarity. It seemed to be awakening its consciousness, and its combat strength was gradually increasing. However, it was obvious that the 7 evil spirits didn't really do anything. After all, they had the blood-refining sect's experts by their side. They had to guard against Ma Jie and the others in case they were ambushed. While Ma Jie was carefully observing the battle, Supreme Devil suddenly said, "Senior Brother Ma, look deeper into the cave." Ma Jie and the others couldn't help but look away from the demonic zombie and into the depths of the cave. Hiss! Everyone from the blood-refining sect sucked in a breath of cold air when they saw the scene in the depths. Behind the 2 demonic zombies, in the depths of the cave, there were 13 square pits arranged in a regular pattern. These pits were divided into 3 layers, forming a semicircular square formation with complicated patterns connecting them. Except for the 2 outermost pits that were empty, there was a demonic zombie in each of the other pits. These demonic zombies flickered with a purple-black luster. They were soaked in a strange purple-black liquid, without any signs of life, as if they had fallen into a deep sleep. The situation was very clear. It was obvious that the 7 evil spirits had somehow alerted the 2 outermost demonic zombies and had no choice but to fight the demonic zombies. Hun Sha is a shrewd fellow. He wouldn't have awakened the demonic zombies for no reason. Could there be a reason? Ma Jie immediately thought of something. An extremely obscure and powerful divine sense gushed out from Ma Jie's body and probed deeper. He was nearly 500 years old, and his divine sense had been cultivated to the pinnacle of the core formation realm. Ordinary core formation realm cultivators wouldn't be able to detect his presence. Ma Jie's divine sense detected a bracelet in each of the seemingly empty pits. Judging from the aura of the bracelet, it was obvious that it was a storage Dharma artifact. Storage bracelets? Could these demonic zombies be transformed from cultivators? Are they cultivators from the ancient Yuan school? Ma Jie's thoughts raced, and he immediately came to a decision. But at that moment, Han Sha's voice came from the gray defensive barrier of the seven evil spirits. Ma Jie, I'm sure you've also discovered the storage bracelets in the pits. Hee, if you want to take the opportunity to take the treasures, I'll immediately awaken the other demonic zombies. The outermost demonic zombies are all core formation realm cultivators. The ones inside are probably even more powerful. If all of them awaken, we'll be in trouble. When the blood-refining clan cultivators heard this, cold sweat appeared on their foreheads. Han Sha was right. Judging from the layout of the pits, the two demonic zombies were in the outermost layer. There were two more layers inside. There were 3 pits in the middle layer, and the purplish-black liquid was much deeper than the outer layer. At the core of the semicircular square formation, there was the largest pit, and a tall figure was submerged in the unknown black liquid, unable to be seen clearly. It was obvious that the demonic zombies in the innermost layer were not to be trifled with. If they were on the same level as the one Elder Siddha mentioned, they would definitely be in a tough battle. Their lives might even be in danger. After they were transported into this strange valley, many places were filled with broken restrictions. Even if they escaped from the devil refining cave, the space outside the plaza was limited. It was only about 20 miles. They couldn't run far. Ma Jie pondered and said, Han Sha, are you planning to join forces? Han Sha laughed out loud, as if he wasn't afraid that his voice would awaken the demonic zombies. Haha, Ma Jie, you're really smart. Are you wondering why we didn't use the power of our nascent soul realm to quickly kill the 2 demonic zombies? Instead, we're just wasting time with them. Ma Jie's pupil shrank. He originally thought that the 7 fiends did this to guard against the blood-refining clan. However, from Han Sha's tone, it seemed like there was another reason. Han Sha continued, after we opened a restriction on the plaza, Madame Su of the Yin-Yang sect used the power of her nascent soul realm to suppress the sky restriction and flew into the demonic technique pavilion. The 7 fiends also used the power of our nascent soul realm to be one step ahead. Han Sha's tone fluctuated as he said, I didn't expect that the 2 demonic zombies in the outermost layer would suddenly send out a consciousness wave as soon as we arrived at the entrance. If we didn't quickly withdraw the power of our nascent soul realm, I'm afraid more demonic zombies would have awakened. Ma Jie's expression changed slightly as he said, Han Sha, are you saying that the demonic zombies here will be awakened by the power of our nascent soul realm? Han Sha chuckled and said, that's right. He continued, these 2 demonic zombies have thick skin and flesh. Their attack speed has also become faster as they awaken from their cultivation. If we don't use the power of our nascent soul realm, it'll be very troublesome to deal with them. Ma Jie snorted coldly and said, it seems like you've taken a fancy to our explosive power. With our help, even if these 2 demonic zombies recover their consciousness, they won't be able to fight against us. Han Sha's voice carried a hint of greed as he said, Ma Jie, after these 2 demonic zombies are destroyed, we'll split the 2 storage bracelets and the corpses of the demonic zombies equally. After that, I can precisely control the power of my nascent soul realm to awaken the 2 demonic zombies. We'll kill the outermost demonic zombies one by one. There must be storage bracelets in the other demonic zombies' caverns. After hearing this, the blood-refining clan's members were somewhat tempted. Although the demonic zombies were powerful, if there were only 2 of them at a time, with so many core formation realm powerhouses, they could easily deal with them. Ma Jie narrowed his eyes and said meaningfully, but Han Sha, how can you guarantee that our 2 sects will cooperate sincerely? With our powerful divine sense, ordinary divine sense oaths won't work. Han Sha laughed and said, Ma Jie, I'm already prepared. Take a look at what this is. As he spoke, a stone tablet that was suffused with a bloody light and faint cries of ghosts flew out from the 7 fiends' barrier and floated between the 2 sections. Ma Jie scanned it with his divine sense, and a look of surprise appeared on his face. You have the blood, oath demonic tablet. Han Sha said, what? Are you relieved now? You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.